Motivated, I'm focused. Came a long way from the lowest. Yeah, gotta get it, the mindset, gotta put it in motion. This is the moment, gotta one-up my opponent. Back then they ain't noticed me, now they know it's me, I'm the chosen. It's my time, yeah, I put that on Bible. No excuses, gotta get to the final. Take all of my idols and turn them to rivals. It's all or nothing, man, the trophy is vital. Game time, bet I'm coming in clutch. No hang time, man, they can't keep up. The game's on the line, seconds on the time. Who can't fight? It's gotta be us.
Better under pressure, go ahead and let it fall on me. I'm destined for it all, you better call on me. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster.
Yeah, whole lot of times they doubted I wouldn't be who I am without it. Sleepless nights, I counted. It all paid off, it's really astounding. I had to keep the faith to elevate. Hope for better days, they were coming. Now we can celebrate, knowing every day is abundant. Yeah, it's my time, yeah, I put that on Bible. No excuses, gotta get to the final. Take all of my idols and turn them to rivals. It's all or nothing, man, the trophy is vital. Game time, bet I'm coming in clutch. No hang time, man, they can't keep up. The game's on the line, seconds on the time. Who can't fight? It's gotta be us.
Better under pressure, go ahead and let it fall on me. I'm destined for it all, you better call on me. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster. All that pain, it done made me to a monster. All that pain, it done made me to a monster.
Y'all sit back and watch me speak. About to take over your screen. Talking bulls in 93. Talking mom, I'm on TV. Y'all know all I do is me. All I do is me. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and all I know, my money green. About to snap and make a scene. My cup off and make this free. My cup off and make them scream. Go back off for TMZ. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and watch. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Money long, nothing on credit. I got style, don't catch no feelings. All this bread, ain't got no lettuce. I got style, don't catch no feelings. Watch me. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. Look, look. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. Look, look. Look, look. Look, look. Look, look. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Watch me. Sit back. Sit back. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back.
like a butterfly. I flip a switch, keep a secret, let you come inside. When I run the gamut, but I could never plan it. I keep on breathing when I land it. When I run the gamut, but I could never plan it. I keep on breathing when I land it. If you give me a piece of your heart, you keep easy when we are a part of two worlds. It could be nothing, maybe it's something. Keep your eyes on me.
Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Me. Keep your eyes on 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 me.
Anytime you clock a butterfly, you flip a switch, keep a secret, let me come inside. When you run the gamut, but you could never plan it. You keep on breathing when you're in it. If you give me a piece of your heart, you keep easy when we are a part of two worlds. It could be nothing, maybe it's something. Keep your eyes on me. Give me a piece of your heart, you keep easy when we are a part of two worlds. If you give me a piece of your heart, you keep easy when we are a part of two worlds. It could be nothing, maybe it's something. Keep your eyes on me.
Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me.
Straight to the top like a new fade. Come for your neck like a hoop chain. Wish all you want like you blue cakes. But I'm on the road like I move skates. Settle to the top like it's due date. And I'm never gonna stop like LeBron James. Big dreams, yeah, live large. We go hard to play hard. Dream big, live large. I work hard to play hard. I'm coming for the top and I ain't never gonna stop. Oh no. Dream big, live large. Work hard, play hard, go hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, go hard, play hard. Wearing them out like a bootlace, rise to the top like a souffle. I bring the heat like Dwayne Wade, dishing them out like a food tray. Big bars like I move weights, and I'm serving them up like a food plate. Yeah, big dreams, live large. We go hard to play hard. Dream big, live large. I work hard to play hard. I'm coming for the top and I ain't never gonna stop. Oh no. Dream big, live large. Work hard, play hard, go hard, play hard, work hard, play hard,
Hello everybody, welcome to Challengers EMEA Stage 3. We are well and truly into the playoffs here, and I think today might be our most important day of the whole playoffs, because we have one best of 3 for you today, but that best of 3 has incredible implications in terms of who we're sending to the play-ins and who is going to have to compete against 15 other teams for one spot at the play-ins in a few days time, and this is going to be a big one. It is Focus, of course, versus Job Life, and look, if Na'Vi Jr. had won their game yesterday against Job Life, then Focus wouldn't have had to worry about this whatsoever, but now they do. Job Life has fought for this spot, and they're going to have to fight again to get any further. But before we get into the action today, I'm your host Twiggy, and I'm joined by my wonderful analysts Echo and MP. How are you doing, Echo?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling excited for this. 1BO3 day, we were saying it in the green room. It's nice because we get to chill a little bit more, but it's also so intense. This feels like the most impactful day of games we've had the entire event, and it's only one game, which I think is a crazy thing for it to be.
I mean, it's literally the most impactful game so far. I think you hit the nail in the head. It's the last spot from VCT or Challengers EMEA to get into that VCT EMEA play-ins, and Focus, Job Life, they're battling for that spot. I think it's gonna be an intense match. I think we're gonna see 3 maps here, and I absolutely hope so, at least.
All right, let's take a quick look at the bracket to show you what got us here, where we're going from here. Of course, everybody in the top 3, they are automatically qualified for the EMEA VCT play-ins. So currently in those spots are Enterprise Esports, who won their game yesterday against Reborn in quite a flashy fashion. In the end, Reborn are going to have to settle for that lower bracket run up back to the grand finals against one of these 2 teams today. But of course, whoever wins joins them in the top 3 in our game. And from here, it is just best of 5. So, I mean, it's going to be tough for anybody who does win this game. However, they'll have had the hard work done already. So those best of 5s against, you know, the 2 most difficult teams in the region, they don't actually matter much more than just for seeding, so they can chill after this, but I'm sure they're still going to want to show us what they're made of, especially in a best of 5, where I think, you know, your skill really comes into it a little bit. But let's take a look at the teams, of course. Focus and Job Life. I mean, this is a pretty insane matchup. We've had a couple of these DAC versus France kind of regional tussles before. And Focus did come out on top in the last one. It was the first time, in fact, that they had beaten out Mandatory, Echo.
Yeah, first time they've beaten out France overall, but now, like you said, these 2 teams, Dark versus France, fighting out for that last playing spot from Challengers EMEA. It is intense, and for Focus, right now, I'm looking at this team as they are on a hot streak. Since they lost against Na'Vi Juniors in the upper quarterfinals, this team has won 2-0, both against Mandatory and against VCT Esports. So they're on a little bit of a hot streak coming in here, and I'm very excited to see what they can pull off.
Yeah, 2 very interesting teams, but 2 very interesting and strong regions as well. France and DAC, that German side for the side of Focus. And I think this matchup is great. It's one of the best that we could have here, because I think these 2 regions, they've kind of struggled in terms of getting that stage 1 or stage 2 best result. Northeast have had that, Turkey have had that, but still DAC and French Revolution, they're looking for that spot. But for the first team, we have Focus. I mean, it's the first thing to focus on. I did it. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Wow. I mean, this is a team that has been... I don't even know where to go from this. This is a team that has been cursed, I feel like, in EMEA Challengers, right? They've never quite made it as far as they would want to. You know, usually even playing second fiddle in their own region a lot of the time, occasionally getting a win in DAC Evolution. But, of course, in EMEA Challengers, a lot of the time they're going out in group stages, or they're not getting as far in the playoffs as they would like to. It's just a team that hasn't quite made it as far as they want, and this really feels like an opportunity, MP, to make something happen.
Absolutely, it is. And the players to make it happen, obviously Pace as the key player in focus, as the aggressive duelist. But yesterday it was actually Serial and Chinook to pop off, especially in split, while Chinook and the company were playing the aggressive role. It was Serial to make sure that Misa couldn't really exploit any potential flank angles, also drawing players to focus on him in few of the rounds as well, creating so much room for his team, and found himself a clutch as well. I think a great player coming from that Team Liquid roster, obviously, and I think that's the identity of Focus as well. They're finding these clutches quite a lot of the times, Eka.
Yeah, they are the clutch kings right now in Challengers EMEA. They have something kind of crazy going on, to be honest. They go down to these low numbered scenarios, and so often, as you can see on your screen right there, they have 3 out of 5 of the top clutches right now of teams that are in playoffs. 3 out of 5 of the members that are good at clutches are in Focus, and that says a lot. That shows that this team are incredible in those moments that get intense, that get clutch, that come down to these individual moments of brilliance. Serial is, for me, the highlight player in these scenarios, but you know, we can look at Pace, who opens up the rounds as well, closes them down. But my concern with this, as much as it's great to talk about how good they are in the clutches, is that I think they rely on the clutches a little bit too much, and that could set them up for failure, because you can't always be winning 1v3s, 1v4s.
Yeah, there is a decent possibility of that being the case. And you're right, there is a certain amount of burnout that can happen if you're constantly pushing yourself to the brink, getting into clutch scenarios. But I'll tell you who hasn't got burnout for this team whatsoever, MP, and that is your boy Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis is an incredible player, obviously the face of Focus. I think he ended last year quite disappointingly, losing out on the VCT spot in Ascension. He went on to play kickoff under Rad to eventually make his return to Focus for stage 2. And like you see on the lower third, he's still on the hunt for tier 1. And I think Lewis is one of those players that definitely would deserve that tier 1 spot. And right after these highlights, we're gonna take a trip down the memory lane a little bit. Lewis going back 4.5 years ago. This is where his Focus journey started. Versus this French team. They won that game. How fitting that we have come full circle where Lewis and Focus are now once more faced against that French region when the stakes are higher than ever. Just one more match to separate him from finally reaching that goal of tier 1 and Focus as well.
It feels like the alpha and the omega really story here, right? It is the beginning and the end. For Lewis is France. If he can beat France again, he makes it in to VCT. For a player that, like I said, 4.5 years, he's been grinding tier 2, and he's not had the chance. I think all of us think he's already deserved, but throughout this tournament, I think he's shown time and time again that he does deserve it even now. And now maybe, finally, this roster that was built without him, and now he got slotted back in again. Yeah. This feels like the magic spark is here for him to finally make it into VCT.
Speaking of which, we're talking of a player who is hungry again for tier 1. Unfake was there at the start of the year, MP.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you highlighted, talking about a player who is really hungry to be back in Berlin. Just at the start of this year, he was standing in for that super team of Vitality. Obviously, did a stint back in 2025 in that team as well. But this year, completing that triple ball buff combo in that Vitality roster. Obviously, his stay there wasn't made to be forever. Sayonara would eventually fill that spot, turning of age, and now Unfake. He's looking to make his way back to tier 1, and he's been making waves. I think he was the standout player in Ascent yesterday. A lot of great recons he provided, brought in so many advantages, but also finding the form that he had against MIR, where he pretty much was the MVP throughout the series. Obviously, Unfake, when you look at the stats, probably not the best, ranking at 58 in the ACS department, but the last few games from him have been so impactful for this team, and a great leader as well.
Yeah, I mean that is a head that would not have triggered the World Cup ball to make an offside player for Croatia in the 115th minute against Portugal. My God, everybody just needs to go bold as a footballer now, or as a Valorant player. Clearly, there is a buff going on, but Unfake has been quite vocal on Twitter about what they need to fix, but also the ways in which they are able to make things work. Right, Echo?
Yeah. Basically, he tweeted this a couple of days ago, about a month ago, sorry, in stage 2, that we need to focus at the start of the games and all will be Gucci, all will be good. Because realistically, I think people have seen this a lot, especially in Challengers 2, but even now, that a lot of the time, Job Life, they're going down in the early. People will snowball against them. And Job Life have to come with these huge comebacks that are difficult to do. They're exhausting. There's so much pressure on you to come back when you're at such a huge round disadvantage. But actually, it does work for them a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think stage 2, they didn't quite find that antidote for this really slow starts, but this time around they have found the antidote, especially against Barca. I think they were down 10-3, and we're gonna see the timeline of what happened there. Somehow Job Life stringed these rounds together so well that they were able to make these comebacks coming through against Barca, against MIR, but this was the biggest one in Breeze. This was a decider map. If they lost this, they would have been out of the tournament, but coming back from that deficit meant that Job Life came back together, and that was the whole team of Job Life as well. It wasn't necessarily one player popping off. Sure, I think there was one round where Kamuk was popping off, but other than that, it was pretty much everyone from Job Life pulling their weight here. And this could be something that Job Life might have to rely on if they have slow starts today. They have to rely on these comebacks, but once again, how consistent is that? Can you actually rely on your team coming back, especially against stronger teams that have a lot of experience like Focus?
Against a team like Focus, it definitely is a bit more of a worry. But as you see there on the timeline, they only dropped 2 rounds, including the pistol, on that second half, right? That is that is the level of the comeback. They got 10 rounds on the half. Like, how do they do that? And the fact that this is not the only time they've had these kind of comebacks, right? They consistently do it. As much as it is not something you want to rely on, if you've got it in your back pocket, if you can't start strong, it does help you follow up, similar to what Focus do with their clutches.
Yeah, this is a team, Job Life, that has, again, dominated their region for quite a long time. In fact, more so than Focus to an extent. And yet, again, has kind of fallen at an unfortunate hurdle during EMEA Challengers, during Ascension, right? Losing to Desire was, Dynasty, sorry. same thing.
Same team, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. They've got the same trigram. It is just not a place where you want to be as a team with this much quality, Echo.
Yeah, because this team is all about quality. They have so many impressive players that we've seen up in tier 1, as well as, in tier 2, grinding time and time again. This is not just like, one person's show. As you kind of said there, MP, in their comebacks, throughout every game, all of these players will have big pop-off moments. They're not really a star player roster like we might see from teams like Enterprise or Reborn. They are a consistent group of incredible players that build each other up and work together to get their win cons.
Yeah, absolutely. Really strong players across the board. Chihuahua has been at it for as long as I can remember. I think at the start of the beta as well, he played his first officials back in 2020. Doma then, once more, a player that has kind of popped into that tier 1 circuit, then coming back to tier 2, then going into tier 1. I think he's looking for that shot in the tier 1 once more. He's so close at it. It's a team lineup full of so strong players that could do anything, but I think so far they have kind of fell flat. This could be a way for Job Life to make their best record ever. They're pretty much their best tournament finish, I would say.
Yeah, I do think that this is well, I mean, it kind of is, right? Their final chance, realistically. Obviously, there is play-ins after this. We have to remind ourselves that whoever goes out in this tournament, it's not an easy path, right? You've got one slot through 16 different teams. They'll have to fight against 15 teams to get through that one. And look, maybe if you're going out in 4th place, your chances of getting through in the play-ins, in the LCQs is better than everybody else's, but you never know. It's tier 2. Anything can happen whatsoever, which is always a scary one. But Job Life, look, they have had a tough time of it so far in terms of the teams that they've been against in this tournament so far, and they're still here, right? The 2 teams that they have lost games to are previous EMEA winners, Echo.
Yeah, they haven't lost against teams that haven't won an EMEA stage, which is just a kind of crazy line when you look at this team as a team that hasn't broken beyond top 4 at all this year, and much in previous years in EMEA at all either, really. This team has struggled on the EMEA stage, but now they have started to consistently beat the teams that aren't at the top level. And I would say in terms of relative strength, to me, Job Life do look like the 3rd strongest team out there, because the only teams they've lost to are the top 2.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily need to win against Enterprise and Reborn. Winning this game would be more than enough. They wouldn't have to win against the stage 1 winner, stage 2 winner, the current finalist, Enterprise obviously on that upper final and Reborn on that lower final. This would be enough for them, but can they actually go over that hurdle? It hasn't, or it's not going to be easy for Job Life. Focus, I think they had a great performance yesterday as well, and a strong team at that. They are 2-0 in their past 2 matches. They haven't dropped a map in those, and to me, this form that Focus have, it looks really scary, especially the way that they beat against Misa yesterday.
Yeah, I think in any other situation, if Focus had not got the results that we've seen in the last couple of games, if they weren't as dominant as we have seen from them, I would probably go, okay, Job Life should be moving on through here. I mean, they beat Narvik Jr. They should be going through. They are a impressive team, but Focus have really stepped up their game in the last couple of days, to the point where I do think that this is going to be a difficult task for them. If Focus maintain that kind of skill that they have displayed over the last couple of days, the fire under them, I think, by the stakes that are at play. And look, they may have thought that yesterday could have been their last game, right? As long as Narvik Jr. had won, they would have got an automatic top 3 because Narvik Jr. can't play in the play-ins. But they've got to do it again. And maybe they've run out of steam. Who knows, Echo? But let's discuss the kind of map veto going into this one. Let's just discuss, can Focus do it again?
Can they do it again? I think is a really big kind of question mark here for me, because as we're looking towards coming into the map veto, I am a little bit scared for Focus's map pool. I think they look very good, but they are going to be heavily reliant on the Pearl. And if they can't win out on Pearl, I know that so many times this tournament we've seen teams lose out on their map pick, but I'm assuming Focus will pick Pearl, and they need to be winning it in order to have a chance in this series, really, because I think Job Life have a slightly wider map pool than them.
Yeah, I think that definitely could be the case, but I think Focus still, with the way that they performed yesterday, they are on a high, basically.
Yeah.
They are rolling from a momentum. On the other side, Job Life, they had a tougher series that was overtime on the decider map, so definitely probably not coming in as confident and as Focus is. Sure, I think you bring a great point of this map veto and the map pool as well itself. I think it's going to be interesting to see where we're going to end up in terms of the map pool, in terms of the map veto. I mean, I'm sure Focus, like you said, is going to rely on that Pearl. It's been great for them. It's one of their better maps, aside from like Haven, but we might not even see Haven today, depending on what Job Life will go for.
Yeah, we're going to get the map veto come through now. And yeah, I think, as you say, obviously, Focus have kind of made Pearl their home here. It was a completely it was a floated map for them before, really just a few games ago, but they performed so well on it that they were like, okay, we're going to make this our Insta pick coming into this one. Haven banned out by Job Life, obviously. I think sends Focus into a rabbit hole here. They're going to have to go with that Pearl, and it has looked good for them. We were worried against Mandatory because it was a 13-10. They didn't look secure on it, but then yesterday their performance on this map was absolutely brilliant. Echo.
It was against Misa, and I think Misa might be slightly easier opponent than Mandatory, despite where they finished in the event. But even UCAM they beat, right? There's other teams up here that I think might be slightly stronger than Misa in terms of relative strength, even if not in tournament finishes, that they've beaten here. Split is where it gets interesting, because Job Life, we've only seen this map from them once this event, and it was against MIR, and that was a 15-13 overtime. Very close win. Whereas for Focus, they've played this 4 times. So they're also very experienced here, and they beat Misa 13-4.
Yeah, and exactly the drawback on that yesterday result that they had against Misa, that was where Syria was on fire pretty much on the attacking side, playing that Viper, lurking around, controlling those flanks. But then again, you had really strong duelists on the side of Focus popping off inside. They were doing some great contact plays as well. I think they were controlling the map really well. At the start of the first half, Focus just went into a B split that completely split the map from mid and control that area, and from there Misa couldn't get themselves back into the game. So it's gonna be interesting to see whether Job Life is gonna let that happen. I think they have a great read. I think that's why they've gone to split. But Lotus, to me, as a decider map, is gonna be so interesting. Both of these teams are great at that map. Job Life maybe a little bit better map record, or actually in terms of the percentages, they are lower in terms of the last 3 months, 10 and 4, but still they've won against Reborn, which is quite good feat coming from any team.
I was going to say, like, the Reborn win for me on Lotus is such a strong indicator of how good they actually are on this map. It was overtime, 14-12, sure, but the fact that they won on Lotus was good. And I'm going to be quite honest, I think the map veto was won from the moment we had the same kind of normal bans coming out from Focus, because Job Life could either end on Ascent, where they are strong, or on Lotus, where they are strong. And at that point, Focus, they were at a huge disadvantage in the veto from the beginning. They had to ban out Ascent because we've still not seen it from them yet. So I think Job Life here has a massive advantage in the veto, but we've not always seen that play out.
Yeah, for Focus, of course, it's all about continuing their streak, right? They need to finally make EMEA... I mean, both teams need to make EMEA challenges work for them, but Focus for sure need that streak versus France to keep on going. They got their first win versus the French region on the EMEA stage only very recently here, and now they've got to take on the big dogs from that region as well. And for Job Life, of course, it's about getting revenge. It's about making that hard work count after having the worst couple of matchups that you could possibly have coming into this stage. Enterprise Esports in the group stage, going straight into Reborn in the playoffs is about as bad luck as you can get. But now they're coming into this one, and I guess they got the practice they needed, right? And you got to keep in mind as well, yesterday versus Na'Vi Junior, we didn't see it on our stream because we were watching the other game, but their first map was Pearl against Na'Vi Junior, and they won that one 13-7. So they've got a bit of practice coming into this one. They might be feeling a little warmer, Echo.
They might. I think the practice is definitely going to be good. Na'Vi Junior, not a team that is by any means bad on many maps. That 13-7 though does show me that Job Life are more prepared than I think Focus might be ready for. And because Pearl is such a win condition here for Focus, they need to win out this map. I'm now looking at this with Job Life beating Na'Vi Junior and a very close game against Enterprise that they lost earlier on in the event. It was 14-16. Actually, Job Life aren't bad at Pearl. They've just been up against strong opponents and either won it or a very close loss.
Yeah, and to me, I think the key for job life in Pearl is adapting early enough against what Focus is going to do. Because yesterday, I think Misa had the struggles of adapting on what Focus does. They were calling timeouts here and there, but instantly from the timeouts where Misa tried to adapt, Focus knew exactly what was going to happen. They adapted themselves, and that's where Misa couldn't quite get themselves on the board. Job life, I think they have to be, or they have to bring more of a surprise element here. You can't be as readable as Misa was yesterday to completely switch your idea after a timeout. You have to make calls in the upcoming round, or not the upcoming round, the round after that, or you have to switch up things before you go to a timeout. You have to be on top of your game. And I mean, Unfake, who we highlighted here, great leader. He has that experience from the tier 1. He definitely knows how to adapt on the fly as well.
I think genuinely for me going into this one, looking at the way the two teams match up on paper, for me, the win condition here for Focus is genuinely, is it the same Focus that we saw over the last 2 days, or is it, you know, the same old Focus that has been trapped in tier 2 for what feels like eons now, right? What has been genuinely the last 5 years. They have been kind of circling this area of the system in Valorant, right? Are we going to see that, or are we going to see the Focus that beat Mandatory 2-0, that beat Misa Esports 2-0 with 2-13-4s? Because that's a different Focus to what we saw before, and I think that MP could beat Job Life.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the Focus we need to see instantly on Pearl, where pace runs with overdrive deep into your spawn on the attacking side, go all the way to the defender spawn, choke out any rotation that you have the confidence to play mid instantly on the first half, not play it all the way at the later stages of that first half. I think Focus to exploit more of Pearl on the attacking side will be great for them. It kind of makes sure that Job Life has to rethink on their approach on the defensive side, where to leave the gaps open and where to focus their strengths. I think from there, if Focus can be that proactive team, it's going to be hard for Job Life to adapt onto that on Pearl.
Yes, sorry. I thought that was going somewhere. That was my bad. But yeah, no, I do think that is really the case. And now, after that nice long pause, I'm going to throw it over to the casters, Hazo and Kylo, so they can fill some of that air.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, look, really, really excited to head into this one. No previous encounters between the two teams, so of course we have saved the first for the absolute best possible moment, despite the fact that they have 10 combined Challengers EMEA appearances between them, both only missing one stage in the previous year. This is the first time that we get to see it, and it's for a play-in spot in VCT EMEA.
Yeah, I mean, both have had varying success when it comes to Challengers EMEA, Haza, and that comes down to, I guess, like the different leadership that we've had in and around the server. That's a storyline that I really want to hone in on as we get to this, because let's be honest, Focus and Job Life have kind of had a similar trajectory coming into this stage, and now they both land in a qualification match.
Yeah, as the desk was discussing, they are organisations which have floated in and around Tier 2 for the last couple of years. Job Life, the more recent than Focus, who, of course, previously were in Tier 1 back in 2022. Not since that Challengers promotion event, which Lewis was a part of 155 games ago in a red and black jersey. Yeah. They haven't been to that kind of level, whereas Job Life, despite appearing at Ascension for the last 3 years, they've been unable to qualify on any of those occasions. So it comes down to this, and an opportunity with, like you say, revised leadership, Unfake coming in and being the real difference maker since the second stage, to give them a second wind and actually put them in a position to compete.
Yeah, I think as we start to head into this lower bracket semi-final, we can discuss that at great length. But for now, we start on Pearl, a map where Focus showed us a great look yesterday. They start on the attack, where, let's be honest, that was probably the most complimentary of the sides.
Yeah, it definitely was. The opening two maps in the veto here are the same for Focus as they were yesterday when they won 2-0 against Misa. And that's exactly what you want to see from them. A quick-paced start, because Job Life have shown that they're able to grow into these games. Focus need to make the most of the opportunity while it presents itself, as they are fighting for a spot in VCT EMEA, the final of the play-in spots for the second stage. And already Focus, as they did yesterday, setting the tempo early with some A main control.
Yeah, they've got a late look coming through mid, and as the players bust out of art, it's a pain of bullets from Job Life. Trade out even, 3-on-3. Same time though, Serial nowhere near this, and he's got deep in here. A chance to take out Kamek, but misses out.
Very well read the situation by Job Life there. Serial always detached from the rest of the ensuing pack when it comes to Focus. We've seen their macro revolve around his late positioning a lot of the time. But even in the 3-on-2, Job Life continuing to stay active. You can see both Unfake and Kamek working the rest of the map. Does leave Chua by himself. His position under the microscope before that rotation arrives.
Grab well used. Still a flash in the pocket of Shinnok. Should have used it instead. Contacts is straight into Chiwa's crosshair. It's up to Molesy now, and well, it's a great first shot. Can't quite switch on to the second. So Job Life take pistol, but again, a similar storyline to yesterday.
Yeah, Focus not too good at finding the openers in yesterday's game, at least towards the start of the series, but as the match went on, just continuing to grow with that momentum at their backs. And it's something that I want to tap into here as well, because when it comes to Focus and these EMEA stages that we've seen them in alongside Job Life, they've lost every single opening game so far this year. All 3 group stages, plus the first playoff stage that we've just seen them in. The lower bracket seems to be where they thrive when it is just back-to-back matches. And so you're wondering how they look on this occasion, coming out of yesterday's win.
A Marshall on runner here. A duelist that's had varying success, and I think well, now it's looking pretty decent. With the last on this B long taken out. So Spike down, and well, Serial nowhere to be seen. Expecting this to go Job Life's way.
And Job Life will be aware of this as well. As I said, it's those tendencies that they'll want to try and read into. Focus with the blistering pace that they got past Misa yesterday, have had plenty more time to think about this one, but it kind of leans into the point I was saying. Do you want to over-prepare for this Job Life team, who are also going to be equally ready for you, I think, after their game against Na'Vi?
Yeah.
Or do you then maybe try and change stuff up? Because, as you can see already, Job Life certainly in tune with the initial game plan as we reach a brief technical intermission.
Yeah, I think that's the point to really hone in on, is the mental game, I guess you could say, when it comes to that preparation. Discussing whether you want to do that Job Life on bootcamp. And you can see the boys all chatting to each other, looking at each other. This Focus are all from their home setups. I think that's the other thing, right, that I just wanted to speak about quickly, Hazza, was the fact that when we think of Job Life, right, they switched out Enzo, tried to bring in new leadership through Unfake, and then for Focus, they brought in your boy Lewis to assist Molesy in their calling. Both seem to have worked out for the better in this stage 3.
Go, go, go.
Especially how Focus started to outclass Misa in their call in the macro game. Job Life a different beast, and already being pulled across towards the B side of the map.
Yeah, Focus again set up in this 4-1 that we were talking about. Serial is on an extremity this time with the turret left in mid. Runner Marshall in hand in A main, of course, and Doma, the other duelist, holding down B long, where the dart hasn't scanned a single target. That's got him interested. Flash deployed, but Shinnok the first to find the jewel. Unfake does trade it, still holding it down from backhauls, and now support is arriving. Run it back coming in, but respect shown on the Job Life side, setting up for a potential retake as Shinnok is gonna get the spike in.
But Kamek not seen, and he's taking his time and has a back onto site.
Playing from the pillar, but Shinnok back out of his own ultimate, able to find another. Unfake still going. Finally left the site now at this point, and Lewis is given enough daylight to get the plant through.
Flank.
It's a 3-on-3 as it stands, but there is a second layer to this.
Runner identified, but it's just a Marshall.
Yeah, Runner Gonna land the shot between the eyes of Serial, though, despite the tag damage already ensued. Mulsi, another one back, and it's down to a 2-on-2. It's these low-number situations that Focus seem to win from, and with Mulsi drawing first blood in the endeavor, it's between him and Lewis, the co-caller, to make this one happen. Unfake on the other side. 3 captains in their own right, but it's got to be Unfake that leads the line here. He can find Lewis, but the time shall surely evade him. And with that, no bonus for Job Life, but plenty of damage done as they go down swinging.
Yeah, I mean, for Job Life, right, they're going to be happy with the damage done against Focus. That's the concession you make to lose in the round. But Focus making mistakes here. Serial getting caught out by Runner as the low player. If that Marshall even hit the body, he was gone. And that was your post-plan utility. That's the big thing for Focus here. When they do go into post, it's the Astra and KG that pose the biggest issues to Job Life's retake. And I mean, you already see the pace in which Focus can hit sites through their double duelist.
Very much has been their intention so far, as Pays again just signposting presence. Plenty of damage dealt onto Runner through the wall. Down to just 20 HP now, but does get away with a tag onto Shinnok.
I mean, he can just heal up. Really the damage is negligible here. I thought for a minute Pays was going to be deposited. Focus, though, start to work other sides of the map, particularly towards mid. Looks like a bit of a B split with Lewis still hanging around with the spike.
Again, though, Job Life just understanding how Focus like to take space. They're happy to concede middle because they're not expecting that second arm of the push to be coming in. In the meantime, it has left R open, however. And despite Chua having a setup on that side of the map, this is one of the big glaring holes.
Right there.
Is it a hole, though? Or is
that
it
Focus could make something from? Yeah, it seems to have been accounted for, but for now at least, and there is a rotation.
I was going to say, this feels like a planned setup, play retake, Focus continuing to work the map, but this has allowed Job Life to make the rotates, has it?
30 seconds left.
So a bit of a stalemate right now, at least in terms of numbers as well. 4 on the Focus side, heading towards the 4 players for Job Life stationed on A as it stands. Waiting in the wings as there's still no plant. 16 seconds in the spike, yet to make movement in the hands of Lewis, and only now starting to exit main. Kamek drawing first blood as the fight starts to take place. 2 shocks dropped and Lewis still hasn't got that spike down. His hands yet to be busy. Finally commits to it, and Serial in the meantime walks away with 3. The spike has just about gone in with a second to spare. No, Job Life have won it anyway, and Kamek walks out with a quad.
I don't even know what's going on in the server, I'm going to be honest. Head loss in there. Lewis, a little bit hesitant, worried about the utility spam. This is their own issue, right? Taking too long on the macro. Lewis finally gets a safe space and Serial goes huge, but in the end it doesn't matter. Kamek, with his own rifle work, he'd already won the round. He's just taking ultimate orbs as concessions. Nearly has his Astra divide up, and look at this round. I mean, Focus are making amends for the mistakes of the last, and Unfake looking to deny them the opportunity.
Spike down A.
Great double from Unfake, just gatekeeping this A site, and with Focus trying to brute force the issue, go for another fast round. It's ended up costing them here. Mulsi, all that stands on 1 HP. That won't last for long. I gotta say, Cairo, I think, yeah, there's literally a fraction of a second in it on the previous round, but as you say, Focus just without the control to get that initial plant in, and then this round, obviously, a flash in the pan.
Yeah. And it's well read by Job Life, right, to understand, like, hey guys, they messed up the last round, they took too long. If they go for a quick change of pace, do not be surprised. If you're Kenny right now in the coach slot, you're a little bit frustrated at how your team's played out these first 5 rounds. I mean, you think of the 1 round that they did win, Hazza, all the players got eliminated.
I think Focus just need to show us a willingness to change tempo at points, because Job Life have been so happy to match them for pace in terms of rotations up until this point. And the case will remain the same in this round, where we're seeing ults invested mainly on the Job Life side. Hunter's Fury and Run It Back. No kills collected, but plenty of damage on Serial as it stands. Pays is going to pluck off Doma through the edge of the smoke, and now it comes to the blades of Runner. Drawn, but not able to find anything from it. It's down to Chua instead on the site. And with 3 big pickups, Mulsi has plenty of work to do. A kill deep in the 1v3. He'll go no further than that for now. And a 5-1 statement made to start the map, which Focus needed to have early momentum in.
Yeah, I think this is timeout territory now for Focus. I'm not seeing enough to, I guess, think of that there's going to be something different. Yeah, and here it is. Kenny not happy. As we expected, though, especially with like the way the rounds have been pretty cut and dry. Sure, Focus have been shown as a couple of kills in the rounds, but for the most part, I don't really feel like Job Life are sweating too much.
Yeah, for me, I think that timeout should have come in just a round ago, because you go so quickly into the follow-up, it felt like Focus were getting the head of themselves there, and I understand the reasons why you want to try and go for a fast play, but at the same time, Job Life do have the read on how they're playing a lot of these rounds. They're fighting them heavily in the main chokes rather than worrying about secondary avenues in the map. It's really ostracizing Serial, not allowing him to have as much play as he would like as well, which was a huge win condition against Misa. It's a stylistic thing for me, at least right now, and that's where the coach needs to say their piece and make the difference. 5-1 lead, defender's side, Focus map pick, and with split up next, it's not been great for either team, but we have seen Job Life show their improvement here already.
Yeah, I mean, well, they've already played it all once against MIR, and I mean, it went to OT, but still a map win nonetheless. Focus showed it yesterday and was pretty convincing on it, but is that because Misa didn't have a great day in the office? It's questions you begin to ask yourself. Pays now deposited for later on. The Cypher, though, not playing anywhere near the site, more towards middle of the map.
And just talking about Pearl a little bit more for a second, both of these teams have made composition changes coming into the stage. For Job Life, it was into the French final, and since that point that they've remained undefeated. With Chua back on the Cypher instead of a Vice, it's made a lot of difference.
Really like this. The Cypher showing himself towards double doors with the Serpent A. He's kind of, Chua's basically forced Focus in towards this site exec, and it's pretty much, should be a meat grinder, but Chua down is going to be an issue.
Yeah, I was hoping to keep those traps up to have the rest of his team play off them, but you can see now Focus actually just calling a quick pivot through the middle of the map. They're heading towards B. Runner gets caught, scoped in. And there is another upgrade for them here. Second rifle on the board, player advantage, and a lockdown in post. Yeah,
this is going to be huge unless Doma goes huge himself. Able to heal up, but the post is from long, and that's where the rifle is. And as you said, Hazza, there is the lockdown. Should they be able to escape? But instead, the players play from sight. So Mosley has to clutch up 2v1. Knows about Doma's position. And that's why he's beginning to run away. Cosmic Divide proven to be an issue. Doesn't hear any noise. Finally pulls the grab well. I mean, at this point in time, Hazza, it's basically got to be hopefully some individual brilliance. Oh no, first fight not as great. Needs to get the second clean and dry. Doesn't work out. Is there enough time for the defuse?
Oh no, there isn't. It's so close.
Yeah.
And there you go. I mean, what a round from Mulsi. Drops behind the divide, doesn't have any audio. You think at that point, Job Life should realize when the Grabwell comes in so late the first time on the initial tap when no one was on the spike, that would be the information. Couple missed shots here. Doma really should do better, I think. And with that, Focus get their second round, but by no means clean.
No, definitely not. And
Great
I think
eco.
Yeah, it is. And the fact you get away with the you get away with like using the ultimates as well. This is a nice little setup that Focus have got here. forcing the operator back and using the blaze wall to scale up, take an orb. And now, I was about to say B is an issue for Job Life to try and re-clear. Doesn't work out that way. Runner does see Pays.
Yeah, and with the jump spot, considering a re-peek and to consolidate some information. Molly in the corner from Shinnok, actually, and not sure if Runner maybe expects him to still be tucked, but...
I think that was from Doma to clear out, just to make sure no one's there.
No, you're right. And I mean, look at the radar right now anyway. Everyone on Job Life has rotated over to A. So it's only Runner left behind on this extremity. And again, like I said, little care for the middle of the map. There's one trap in art and a cam, but other than that, everything is here to support the site hold itself. And Focus are going to run straight into it.
Yeah, that they are. I mean, a site stack like this for Job Life, we've seen how it goes, and it's exactly the same way as we have been. That spike lost to art. And now as that lockdown expires, you can already see the players want to flood in, but Serial within the smoke gets two of his own. Spike in, and now Mosey with another clutch attempt. Considers the flank, considers the re-clear from behind, but does he actually go for the clear himself? He doesn't, wins out! The spike planted for him, and now up against Doma, the stun not hitting. There's still 1 star in a grab well there. Doma goes for the clear. Mosey playing, hiding, trying to stay away. The fight coming his way and still wins out. Focus somehow get through, take the operator from themselves, and it's like the desk was saying, Hazza, Focus are really relying on these clutches to get through.
Yeah, it's their sole win condition right now, Cairo, and Mulsi yet again gets the better of Doma, this time in the gunfight as well. Back-to-back clutches for the in-game leader. Job Life doing everything right from a macro perspective. Focus looking so underdeveloped on their attack side, but getting away with these hero plays, and that's all that's making the difference right now.
Sometimes you've got to just run with it, right? If your individuals are playing well, if you're getting by, I mean, realistically, it's Moses' 2 clutches in the end that have got them through.
It's peak 2026 meta. If you've got underdeveloped macro, you're relying on your micro. Focus have found ways to trade off of each other in a couple of these rounds. And that's kept them in it, where they just haven't had the map material, the space. Runner here again is just identifying the walk down from Shinnok. Does pick him up this time. A 5 versus 4 situation with Unfake on the other end, ready to receive. Doesn't want to overplay this.
Unfake. What are we doing?
No.
Doma's caught out as well. And this is what we're talking about in terms of individual mistakes from Job Life. Another advantageous position there that they allow Focus to get in and get to post.
The divide goes up. Runner's looking for a way to try and play in over the top of this. Can anyone on the Job Life side tip the scales and move the needle themselves?
Pays. Operator as the Cosmic Divide drops, does see Runner, but doesn't get the pick. And that's where Kamak comes through and picks himself up. So 3-on-3 and post, we're starting to see the players really swing in, and Kamak cleaning up. Another 4K on the A site. Do not worry, Job Life will find their 6th.
It took a while, a few more rounds than you would have expected. But Job Life do get through, and yeah, maybe a little bit of individual brilliance of their own there as well. Kamek taking down his replacement from Liquid last year, Serial, and the rest behind it. It's exactly what they needed, but again, players in the right position, just gotta make sure they tighten up on some of these errors. I don't personally understand the rationale leaving Unfake their solo A main. I think he called for a second player. They did come over eventually, but with the amount of ground they've already won, need to know when to make concessions. And unfortunately for Runner, it's an instant death this round.
I mean, the thing is though, that's a rifle that you can pick up and use to your advantage, especially with Shinnok having to run it back. Same time though, True is scaling behind and starting to re-clear. I don't think Serial has an idea. Trigger discipline. There's no one else to be found here.
How long does Chima want to wait though? because he's about to get flanked himself by Mulsi. No, this can't go like this, surely. Chiwa does eventually pull the trigger, and it's just in time. Fortunate enough for Job Life, plays in Doma as well to pick up Mulsi. I think that's exactly what they were looking for. Final 2 players left on pistols, no upgrades as of right now, but they know where the weaponry is. Unfortunately, it's the B site that they want to head towards first.
That is where Kamek is. Not a player that you particularly want to be going up against, if I'm being honest, Hazza, especially with his start. Lewis not even attempting to pick up the orb. This should be a post-plant in the end. Sheriff's in the mix, but at the end of the day, it's the rifles that will probably win out. In fact, even going to get a Hunter's Fury out? I would say this is a win for Focus.
Spike down B.
Yeah, it's not bad to bait out the ultimate here. I think Shinnok would have been picked off by it, but no, he's lived on 20 HP.
Oh,
it's a brilliant follow-up shot from Shinnok in the end there. HUD a little delayed, but it did go down to the 1v1. Doma, the more healthy and the more well-prepared.
yeah, I
But
mean...
here, just showing the willingness from Job Life to stay proactive in some of these situations. It's been their Achilles heel, but you see the benefit on this occasion.
I'm starting to get a little worried about Job Life's economy because, I mean, sure, they're doing pretty decent, right? But Unfix had to take a judge, and Glass Cannon Operator on Runner. This is a big swing round for Focus, should they be able to win it.
Yeah, this one effectively decides the half, whether you're looking at a potential 9-3 for Job Life, or if Focus can get themselves back in on their attack side. The better of what we saw from them yesterday pays the spearhead then. Not able to do it this time, but Shinnok does trade in effect through his own ultimate. Chiwa still holding it down on the site and yet to be detected. Another round where he goes under the radar. First already picked up, Phantom in hand, and a quick reposition towards the other site box on default. Does eventually get caught, but not before Doma is there to answer back.
Doma's been a real issue. That spike needs to be recollected though, and both players not in a position to do it, especially with Runner here on the Operator.
Whilst he's still 3 stars, just waiting for one of those smokes on cooldown. And I think it's actually just a recall that gets him across into this plant spot in the end. Molly misses from Doma, so Mulsi safe for the time being. 1 star left to play with and another recharging as it stands. It's the Cosmic Divide instead which gets used as Mulsi looks to try and play up close and personal. Doma reads the situation, drops him where he stands, leaving only Serial behind. Former Tier 1 player himself up against a couple others. Doma the most recent onto the champ stage, but it's Serial here trying to make a case for himself. First picked up, but Doma will be the one to do it in the end. Such an important round for Job Life. The 8th secured with the 9th calling their name.
Yeah, that gap grows ever more daunting for Focus. I mean, at the same time, I think the round is fairly well dealt with, but the fact that Focus still are not paying attention to the smaller details, making sure a site's clear. Chua once again doing what needs to be done for Job Life. I don't know if Focus are getting unlucky, Job Life getting lucky, or if it's well planned out in the end. At the same time, you take what you can get. Job Life looking at 9 now.
I'm out of here.
There's still a credible purchase here behind Focus. Everyone with a rifle, but light shields. Some missing utility, the concessions that we're looking at. Runner's position spotted, he's able to get out of dodging with the damage already dealt. Doma dropping pays with the molly in the meantime. Chiwa going over the top to try and see what he can fish out, and it is Shinnok eventually that ends up finding him. Runner still running hot on site though. With the spike left behind in main, it is a long walk for Mulsi to try and retrieve this. Serial, that second layer, even already noted by Kamek in Spawn.
Last player standing. Team
Yeah, and
With both of them dropping, it's just absolutely doomed. The 9th is there for Job Life.
I think in the end, Hazza is just so easily readable by Focus. They continuously play 4-1s. Serial is becoming more of a hindrance than a crutch for Focus. We're going to need to see a massive level up on this defense. It should be easier to call We'll find out if that is the case after the break. It's been a clean sweep of qualifications for both of these teams in 2026, and with it being the first time that either of them make playoffs in the extended format, Job Life now looking to take it one step further towards an EMEA play-ins spot. Focus just 3 rounds down, this pistol is a requirement. Yeah, as with Pays looking to play on the front foot, but he's been isolated. An island and Job Life looking to collapse upon it. It ends up being a B site collapse. And that spike can go down as easy as that. Job Life infesting the site and a post plant which should be easy enough to convert from.
Looking at the tools they have, it's just Doma's flashes to try and re-engage. Mulsi already out in sight, he's been spotted.
Yeah, that he has, and Chua cleaning him out. I mean, at the end of the day, Job Life just so professional so far. Double digits found by the pistol round, and I think that should be all she wrote for Focus.
For all of the similarities that these teams have, both qualifying second place in their groups, Job Life have only lost to the upper finalists so far in this stage of competition, both Reborn and Enterprise, and you can see exactly that golfing quality right now between the two, I think, Cairo. Focus looked very one-dimensional on their attack side, the defense not proving to be any better as it stands, and while the record for both a little middling on split, you're expecting things to improve. This is not the sort of showing that we really anticipate in a match of this sort of stake.
Focus being proactive. You like to see this, at least giving us a little bit of something on a pistol round rather than stacking and holding back. The information should be coming through though. This will be Ain. Chinook trying to play in a similar position which worked against him when they played Misa Focus. Ends up giving himself up, and overall I don't think there's much to be speaking about here.
No, Focus actually thought that it was B for just a moment before Chinook got caught in that situation. Pays had cleared all the way out through mid and saw the trap outside of Club on B long. And with how passive Mulsi was being, the assumption was that that was the side of the map they'd headed towards. Just a little blindsided by this one, and without the weaponry, it's exactly as you expect it to go. Pays does well to get a couple on the way out. Still 3 orbs from the overdrive, no big pieces to play into for what will be Job Life's bonus, a very strong bonus at that.
Yeah, I mean, to show you the difference, Hazza, when we look at the scoreboard post-replays, Pays is on 14 deaths. Yesterday, he had as many kills on the attack, and that just shows you the difference in what we're seeing performance-wise from Focus. It's just not been up to scratch, not been up to standard. This is their map pick. This bonus round with 4 rifles in the mixer. Focus need to be careful they don't give away 1v1s because Job Life well stocked to take them on.
That's another aspect of this stylistic clash I think we have to talk about. Job Life have so many great anchor players.
Yeah.
That for FaZe to find the same kind of value, it's incredibly difficult. This matchup against the Cypher as well on Chua has caused him a few issues already.
Gotta go.
The fact that they're playing with a Fade, you've not got any utility damage to break those too easily.
It's an easy checkmate, but surely if you're Focus playing against Chua, such an iconic Cypher player, this is something that you should know about. FaZe now seeing the utility being sent and trying to retreat away.
He's going to try and hold on the site here. Brilliant catch onto Runner, diving in, and the follow-up even sweeter. Pays at the double. And with that, FaZe just knocks them all down. Chua, his Achilles heel, finally puts it to rest. But the kind of play where you blink,
I have retrieved the spike,
and it's already happened, passed you by. Chira 1v5, and with Lewis just shouldering this, he invites him in for a focused round win. There's the bonus denied from Job Life, but what a showing from FaZe.
Yeah, it's a brilliant set of kills that he's picked up. A spray down for that double there, which ends up in 4. I mean, again, as you said, Chua the Achilles heel, but it keeps Focus alive for 1 round longer. But the next round is a rifle round again for Job Life. It's the same amount of menace and the same amount of power that you have to go up against.
Yeah, no outlaws here as Job Life are fully light shielded coming into this round. Early recon drops into Art. That gives a little bit of runway for Runner to take the space, as Focus themselves have managed to completely overhaul A main. 3 players here, maybe looking to walk on out into Unfake, who is just face checking it and does collect the information in tow.
This walk-up art Lewis has thought about and is able to at least get 1 in return. FaZe coming through swinging. You can feel his confidence starting to grow more and more. So Job Life feeling a little bit forced and starting to move towards the B site.
Yeah, there was no instant reaction from Job Life off of that initial A main information. Wanted to keep a full contact instead. And that will prove to be the case as they move towards B. You can see Doma taking the timing through Sewer here. Going to be looking to see if he can pick off FaZe, but it all falls onto the shoulders of Chua on the site itself to actually get the work done. And as we cross the 30-second mark, they know all about him yet again. It's a very similar situation to the previous. And with this, Focus continuing to build back into the second half.
Nice couple rounds, and I think with Job Life being denied 2 spike plants, it should result in an equal for this attack. Nice for Lewis to at least get 1 as he retreats there. It feels already that players are starting to level themselves up, starting to gain a little bit of confidence, and that's good signs for Focus should they start to make this comeback. This is just going to be a straight fling it at B site, see what sticks.
And we'll see what Job Life are able to achieve here. It's a departure from this slower, more coordinated style that they've been showing us in previous rounds. And Focus haven't really read into it, at least initially. The rotation's now starting to arrive, but that's not until Job Life have already broken the neck of the site. Bit of damage onto Molsey as he backpedals. Shinnok from the corner here as well, forced to just forfeit the space, and so Job Life have won themselves a post plant at the very least.
Yeah, it's 5-on-4, but overall it shouldn't be that much of an issue, and it's not, especially when Doma's giving away 1v1s like that, and you've got Unfake jumping out in the open. I think it's the concession is here is it's the ultimate orbs as Kamek's Bandit tries to make something of this round. And I don't think he's even going to be allowed to swing out on towards the next either. He's not. Focus gets 6, and they into that lead a little bit.
Yeah, 5-round gap now between the teams. It's been nice to see that Job Life have a few more options in terms of how they want to attack some of these rounds, but if the result is the same as it was for Focus in the first half, then it makes little difference. Their defense so far has looked a lot better. Now playing as the protagonists, more confidence under their belts, and we head into a pivotal gun round between the teams. Still no scoped weapons in play.
You can't catch
But
us.
Pays has looked much better with a rifle in his hands.
He has now starting to reach numbers that we typically associate with him, with 15 kills. Job Life showing presence all around the map, but it's the ace portion that they're most expected.
Taking that back.
Cosmic Divide here to execute. Lewis already dropping out. This is a full retake for Focus.
Yeah, nobody to challenge the site itself as it stands, but you can see Job Life themselves a little hesitant on this A progression. Looks like actually both Runner and Kamek, who were left behind, are going to join up with the rest of the team. We know Chua from his time on previous rosters to be incredibly vocal in these mid-rounds, so with his input, looks to be joining the B push, but not before Serial just interrupts things a little bit. Takes a fight in mid, and that's Unfake gone with this Hunter's Fury as well.
Yeah, is that a red herring though? Because the spike got dropped and now bodies move towards the A site. Pays scaling up, has seen the Cypher, but hasn't seen the Phoenix. Stoma now running out with the run it back, and Chinook trying to cower in fear, get away a defensive position in which he wins out, and even gets another, a big spam, run it back online for himself now, should he opt to use it, but Mosey seals Stoma's fate, as well as Job Life's it seems. Runner trying to get to the hills, and it seems like he'll be successful. We're within 4 right now.
And so Job Life, past the pistol and anti-eco conversion, have been unable to register in any of the gun rounds on this second half. Outside of the opening 12, Focus looking much more assured of themselves, playing with agency now.
Yeah. 100%, and I think that's the key point, right? Agency. The fact that we're actually seeing Focus, I mean, win out fights, I guess, right? Taking these cheeky little pushes here and there, but for the most part, I actually think the positions that Focus take are much more reserved. They're not giving Job Life the opportunity to overwhelm a certain position. And when I actually go and look at the history of Focus's peril, the defense isn't really that, I guess, well won, right? It's sitting at a 54% defensive win rate, just more than half of the rounds won. The only kind of outlier here, the big complimentary point, was that against Misa, Focus won 5 rounds in a row. So, question is that more an indicator of how Focus's defensive side looks now? Has it been improved? Or is it realistically just a little bit of form that Job Life haven't been able to adapt to? We've not seen a real timeout from Job Life yet. The first one coming through. What adaptations are we going to see from this attack side? It looks like a split towards A.
Maybe seeing if they can find a way to isolate Serial, because Focus have been winning their 1v1s, 1v2s. Think of the previous round and Chinook on the B defense. Job Life now starting to encroach on A, however, and Unfake's ult ripped does find value. Lewis lost in the back line, but Chinook still playing up close. 2 positions to guard, and it's from Art where he falls. Chua threading the needle on the way back through, and even looking for an extra one onto Serial. Pays a hefty cost. He drops, and with that, man advantage for Job Life.
Yeah, but it's given a distraction. Moses tried to go in, but Serial losing out. It's opened the floodgates. It's up to Pays now.
Playing with the op, but it's the overdrive which he throws into the mix. Damage on both players that he slides past, but Runner the one who eventually puts a stop to it. Job Life coming out of the pause, have the round which they require. The gap extends to 5 again, and this time they only need a single round to take the map.
I mean, if you're Lewis, you're absolutely frustrated by getting caught on the edge of the last bolt for the Hunter's Fury. That's realistically what leaves Shinnok on an island, and Focus not quick enough on the rotates. Already, when we look at the positions on the map, Joblife looking to try and use and abuse the A site, but Lewis and Shinnok take a much more forward position, one that we've not necessarily seen.
Just playing with this aggression, Unfake should be quick to check him and does, but not before Shinnok finds the first blood on Runner. Opens proceedings, leaves Lewis behind, but Shinnok follows up with a trade, and Mulsi is able to hold up his end of the bargain as well. That solo lurk walking through B gets dropped. And now with twice the player numbers, Focus have forced Joblife to freeze.
Yeah, two strong lurkers in Serial and Chiwa on the attack. Both of them have had little to no success. Waiting to couple up and head through Arc. Focus ready for this though.
Got all the numbers here. Pace scoped in, just finds Kamek before the smoke fades, pops up in front of him.
30 seconds left.
Unfake is backtracking into trouble. Mulsi already waiting here on the mid cross. And so Polish IGL versus Polish IGL has Mulsi come out on top and find his 20th kill of the map. He's been leading the charge since minute 1, but it's the rest of Focus now starting to fire on all cylinders.
Yeah, I mean, there is little room for error right now for Focus. In fact, none at all. Lose a round, map done, on to the next one. And Focus showing us that they've learned from their mistakes of the last round.
I mean, this is a serious confidence builder. Even if they lose the map now, the fact that they have recovered some rounds makes it a little easier to swallow.
Mixed buy here, has it?
Yeah, Runner with the Blade Storm. Doma can attribute to this with his own run it back, of course, and so Mulsi's just giving full respect. Serial in the alleyway there as well. This partnership of players looking to shut out the push, and they have done.
Yeah, but they've identified two players there.
To test this high line with the blades, and does get taken down by Pays as well. So just a single player casualty right now beyond those ultimates, and Focus are starting to have to spend some of their own to recuperate in this situation. Pays sliding through, picking up 2 more. That's a triple for him on the round now, and it just comes down to Kamek. Backhauls out of position, out of order in this situation now. With the defuse coming in, cornered, no way to get on an aggressive line. And Focus move within 3. The dream is not done yet.
No, it's not entirely just yet. But the thing is though, right, I think it's a fairly successful ultimate from Doma. Heading towards lane, you see at least 2. You know that this should be a split no matter what. If there's 3 there, or there's 2 from CT, whatever. And then the way that they set up Joblife is towards halls. You know that there's an ultimate, a Nightfall to come back in. You should be playing from long, in my opinion. In the end, Focus's retake strong, Joblife spy weak, and this should end up be easy as for Focus.
Pays put under pressure though, hot under the collar. But still finding the kills that he needs. It was just pistols which Joblife brought to the situation here, and Unfake will at the very least get 1. But Pace has made it an open and shut case in round 22. It's just a couple of rounds now which separate the teams. Focus have made their way up to 10, and having looked at the veto process and knowing how important this one was for them, they didn't get the side select. But once we've changed over to their defender's side, Cairo, it has been a completely different story.
Yeah, it's starting to get worrying, and you can see the second timeout coming through, 2 rounds away from the equalization of Focus. And if you're the coaching staff for Joblife, you begin to worry a little bit. Larson, who's been with Joblife for as long as I can remember, to be honest. trying to give his orders and calm the boys down. One round is all it takes, but is that one round too much?
Both of these teams carrying an undefeated streak on Pearl into this series. It is the most evenly matched of the maps in that respect. Focus 5-0, Joblife 3-0, both in this stage. And as I said earlier, compositional changes helping spur them on in a more positive trajectory than they both had been. Looking at it now, though, it's just a couple which could settle that and leave a mark on an otherwise spotless streak for both. Ults in play, economy hanging in the balance, and so of course we are made to wait a little bit longer to see how this one transpires.
Yeah, try and sort out whatever is going on. Obviously right now when you have a look, this is a worrying position to be in with Joblife, right? You've lost all momentum. All you need is one round to kickstart the series in the right way. It seems as if it started with aggressive A possession, but overall they've not taken control of that area that they've cleared, right? So now they start to think it's a B split, but Focus have done well to invest elsewhere.
It was a quick turnover from Focus there. Looked like they were trying to get the op on the line, but instead Doma steps backwards into Shinnok's molly and drops as this mid-control from Joblife is now only starting to return value as Kamik can trade through. Big information as the hat leaves the head of Chua. They know that the B site is vacant, and with the Cosmic Divide in play, runners first to this line, just steps back for a second, but Mulsi walks into the crosshair. The scope already on the sight line, and the spike arriving in this B site with Chua on the back line. He can hear a whole horde of steps, and he only needs one, maybe two, to wrap up the map.
Yeah, and he's done it. That one could be enough. Has a 4v2 to try and retake from, and Lewis has an op.
Hayes with a full util belt, but drops into Runner, who has opened up this round in its entirety and sealed the map for Joblife. They go 1-up in the qualification game, putting them a single step away from the VCT.
I'm going to be honest, that last round has left a lot to be desired. Focus, I don't know why they've invested the lockdown and really in towards that part of the map, right? I mean, sure, the Cosmic Divide throws them off, but overall, Hazza, I'm watching that round play out. As soon as you have that neuro theft, of course Joblife's going to go to the other side of the map.
Yeah, it was a very hectic exchange towards the end, but you've got to remember all of the ults invested on a round like that, which made the difference for Focus to either stay in it and extend play, potentially towards an overtime, at least that's how it felt, or for Joblife to take it there and then, and that's the conclusion that we end up with. So, with that in mind, Pearl, the map that we were talking about so much on the desk coming into this one, has gone the way of the French side. It is 1-0 to them. Let's see what the analysts think about that one.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Hazza. That is what we are focusing on here. I think this was kind of what we worried might have been the case for Focus if they couldn't bring the same fire that they had yesterday. And don't get me wrong, that second half, they did bring that fire, but it was too little too late. Pretty much anything would have been too little too late after a 9-3 half into a, 11 rounds for Joblife. This was the map they really needed to go off of the starting blocks at full sprint, and it was more like they were at a marathon pace, Focus, towards the end there. Echo.
Yeah, there was so many nice moments from people like Pace, people like Chinook to try and drag them over that finish line, but you attempt to do a comeback against the kings of the comebacks and you are going to fail. It's not going to work. And Joblife take this map, the map that Focus picked, and as I said before that game, this was a must win for Focus because now they're going to where their opponents are meant to be strongest.
Yeah, and Joblife, they were able to read Focus like an open book, rotating on the correct side of the maps, and all of the success that Focus actually had on that first half game from the individual brilliance as well came from the clutches in the first half, and sure that bonus run to get themselves as well And in the end, it wasn't quite enough on that second half. They lost too many rounds, and even though that they had that kind of looming comeback coming through, it wasn't quite enough because they lost so many rounds in the first half.
Well, I mean, looking back at the map, I think MP, a player that you wanted to highlight out of this one, was Chihuahua. So tell me what impact he had on this game.
I mean, first of all, he completely shut down Pace on that first had. I think Pace had his fair share of struggles on the attacking side, just because Shiva was being a menace. And being on that Cypher, it's quite hard to play with Neon. I think it was Haza who highlighted that as well, that they didn't really have the Sova to break the trips. With the Fade, it's quite hard to support Pace, and Chihuahua absolutely putting up numbers as well. You saw Chihuahua on that last round kind of cemented that round for themselves, playing that lurk, even though that Serial already read that Chihuahua is going to come from the flank, but Chihuahua just being so strong in terms of having that individual brilliance, were able to win that duel.
It's a team thing as well, but you've got a Neon, you're going up against a Cypher, maybe a Vice, any Sentinel that has stall utility that can shut down the Neon that's stuck to the floor. The team needs to default to be able to shut down, take out that utility. Otherwise, the Neon will be caught, like we saw from Pace so many times. The one real shining light here for me for Focus going into the next map is the Job Life don't run a true Sentinel. They have the Viper, you know, the Snake Bite, the Wall, the Orb. They can slow you down on the attack side, but this is still possible for Focus because now they're not up against the Cypher. They're not up against a Vice.
Yeah, well, for Focus, fortunately, they've got plenty of reps on Split recently. In this stage alone, 13-8 versus Pixel Lumina, 13-8 versus, the other way around, 13-8 versus UCAM Esports, a 10-13 loss against Navi Jr., and most recently, of course, another 13-4 win against Misa Esports, but of course they got a 13-4 win against Misa Esports on Pearl as well. So for Focus, it is imperative that they get back into this series. A reminder, if they go out, that is it. They have to go through the last chance qualifier in a few days for one of 16 spots to get into the play-ins, and for Job Life, if they do win this next map, they are a top 3 team in this tournament and they get their play-in spot as it stands. I'm going to throw it to a quick break now, but we will be back with map 2 of Split very shortly.
Yeah, motivated on focus. Came a long way from the lowest. Yeah, gotta get it the mindset, gotta put it in motion. This is the moment, gotta one up my opponent. Back then they ain't noticed me, now they know it's me. I'm the chosen. It's my time, yeah, I put that on Bible. No excuses, gotta get to the final. Take all of my idols and turn them to rivals. It's all or nothing, man, the trophy is vital. Game time, bet I'm coming in clutch. No hang time, man, they can't keep up. The game's on the line, seconds on the time. Who can't fight? It's gotta be us.
Better under pressure, go ahead and let it fall on me. I'm destined for it all, you better call on me. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster.
Yeah, whole lot of times they doubted I wouldn't be who I am without it. Sleepless nights I counted, it all paid off, it's really astounding. I had to keep the faith to elevate, hope for better days, they were coming. Now we can celebrate, knowing every day is abundant. Yeah, it's my time, yeah, I put that on Bible. No excuses, gotta get to the final. Take all of my idols and turn them to rivals. It's all or nothing, man, the trophy is vital. Game time, bet I'm coming in clutch. No hang time, man, they can't keep up. The game's on the line, seconds on the time. Who can't fight? It's gotta be us.
Better under pressure, go ahead and let it fall on me. I'm destined for it all, you better call on me. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster.
the chub, this a cakewalk. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, hit 'em talk, let 'em take shots. 007 on the block, keep the aim cocked. Pull up to the spot with the squad, let the bass drop. Laser on the arm, brought the chub, this a cakewalk.
Hello everybody, welcome back to EMEA Challengers Stage 3. Things are getting to a knife's edge here for Focus as they need to win the next map to retain their position in the tournament. It is Job Life, one map up on their opponent's map pick of Pearl, and now they head to their home ground on a split. Maybe not their home ground, but the map that they chose regardless. And that does mean that if Job Life win this next map, they are going to the VCT EMEA play-ins as it stands, and they'll be able to continue in the tournament as well, maybe get some revenge against the two teams that sent them into the lower bracket. And if Focus lose, that does mean that they are out of the tournament. They'll have to go through the last chance qualifiers, which are going to be pretty rough for any team involved. It doesn't matter if you're better than the rest of the teams, it's still going to be a rough tournament, let's be completely honest. So looking at the next map, I believe MP, there was a point that you wanted to bring up about these two regions.
Yeah, I mean, both of the regions are 1-1 currently in 2026. Dark has won one game, France has won one game. And the most important part here is both of the encounters have ended up being in 2-0 fashion. So technically, Job Life, they have the upper advantage here if our scriptwriters are on top of their jobs here. It could end up 2-0, and this is the place where they kind of decide that regional pride as well, not only getting into VCT EMEA Stage 2 play-ins, but regional pride and Focus in a dire situation of making something happen in the split.
And Split does almost always bring bangers, especially when you think about regional rivalries on this map. Going back years, this map has always delivered incredibly, but specifically between these two, I do think this is leaning slightly towards Job Life, but I think it should be a relatively close battleground. Twiggy, you said that one of them's the home ground. Actually, I think Lotus, our third and final map, is actually what I call Job Life's home ground. That's where they're most comfortable. So even if this does go to the third map, I'm more really looking at Job Life as the favorites in this series because Lotus is where they are happiest to play.
Yeah, and I think we kind of touched upon it right at the start of the show in that no matter what way this map veto went, with the way the bans work, it was more than likely going to be a Job Life kind of heavy map pool that we were going to see, that we were going to end up with, something that favored them. And I think that's the reason why Split is the second map, is that they know that if Lotus does get floated, they're going to be in for a good time either way, no matter which way round they put it, right? Yeah, I think Job Life on paper, again, we mentioned this, definitely looking like just the better team. It's more where the Focus can show up. We did see a glimpse of greatness there in the second half of Pearl from Focus, and I do hope we get to see more of that earlier on, ideally, in the Split here, MP.
I think you bring a great point there. I think Focus, they were lacking in terms of that explosiveness that they had against Misa on that first half. On the second half, they brought that explosiveness. Pace had his moments as well. I think from there, they found some confidence, and that's where Focus started to thrive. They have to find that momentum early on. Job Life, they were countering everything that Focus did. I think Focus got quite underwhelmed from that. Serial was getting countered. They knew exactly where he was every time. This was a map where Serial tried once more against Misa. He was great at this map, but if he's getting red like he did on that first map, it's gonna be quite hard for him to do his job. And for the side of Job Life, you have to be on top of that. And the comps, I just love the sky on the comp when we have double Vipers. And I think that's something kind of that you highlighted yesterday as well, Echo. The sky is so good when there's Vipers in play.
Absolutely, but the key thing for me here isn't necessarily the sky, the Vipers, it is Chinook on Jet. This man is unleashed. We saw it against Misa. He went 23-9. An absurd stat line. And that for me is where Focus need to be leaning. Put all of your resources, your boy Lewis back in Chinook up, Hayes making sure Chinook is put into the best possible positions. That is the biggest win con for me here, because he doesn't really rely on the operator. He just goes with that rifle, goes aggressive, gets multi-frags, and if he can continue to do that, that is where Focus are going to start to win.
Yeah, and look, in case you're looking at that and you're hearing that and you're thinking 23-9, I've probably dropped that in a ranked game. What? That's not that insane whatsoever. That was over 17 rounds. That was a 13-4 win to Focus. So yeah, in terms of the amount of kills per round, that was about 400 ACS essentially from Chinook. So don't let the numbers fool you when it's over that short of a game. And it was so short of a game. It was 23 minutes the game lasted for, I think, something like that. Absolutely ridiculous stuff from Focus there, and that's what they need to bring out here. I'm glad they got that rep in on that map and maybe some confidence in on that map against Misa yesterday, because they're going to need it to get this comeback going against Job Life. But it is now time for them to be under the axe. They need to get themselves out from under that chopping block and fight back against Job Life. So I'm going to let Hazza and Cairo cast this one for you. Take it away, guys.
Last chance for Focus before the last chance qualifier is exactly what this is, and it's on a map which we have seen them perform on previously. Just 24 hours ago against Misa, it was an incredibly quick affair. However, with the Pearl that they also showed in the same series already being having its appearance in this one too, you have to say there is a gulf in quality right now which needs to be bridged. Focus can take some positives from the end of Pearl, but they need to continue that right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be asking a lot of Focus in this next one. They need to convince us, Hazza, as going into that map 3, that they can do this. Job Life have already put Focus to the sword in that first peril. Took them a while to wake up. Maybe that's what they needed, Focus, just a warm-up map in this best of 3. You spoke about how every single time Focus lose that opening series, maybe it's just an opening map wake-up call.
Yeah, of course, that is in the first round of competition, groups, and the initial playoff match that we saw here as well. And just to repeat, Job Life's only defeat against both upper finalists, Reborn and, of course, Enterprise, who will be waiting there on Sunday. But a long way for now as Focus start the attack with 2 kills in middle. Already the kind of beginning on the B side that you would like to see, but Kamek has found an equal exchange. Still player advantage here for the Duck side as they look to collapse onto Garage, but Kamek has held his ground for another kill, and Unfake is still undetected, finally given away by a reload of the Ghost and a Flash. But Job Life trailing from this position.
Lewis so far away, finally in position. It was 2-on-2 on site for a moment. Now runner knowing about, and Mosey gone. 2-on-2 now.
Yeah, and both of those players have been sighted in the heavens. Flash released from Unfake, and again gets the info on both. First tap comes in from Runner to try and bait out a peek, and Unfake looks to be sticking this up to at least half. So a little bit more pressure placed on those Focus players, but Unfake out in the open won't last much longer against the two of them. Serials, Bandit bagging further kills, and Focus finding the pistol.
Big pistol round 2 went out. I was worried for a minute with Lewis taking so long to get back in. And this is a nice opener from Focus. The fact that they play behind the orb, wait for it to drop, and then use it against their opponents. Big kills from Serial for him to build towards the Viper's pit as well. But a pistol round win nonetheless, something that they've not necessarily done the best at overall.
Yeah, Focus already with a better start than what we saw from them on Pearl.
Ooh.
Of course, it was the latter end of the first half which really had things spiral out of control. There was a big swing round, I'd say about 10 rounds in, where they had a chance to make it 7-5, keep it close. But just 3 in the end from their attack there. And that's got to be something to think about over these potential next 2 maps, right? They get the side choice on here for Split and Lotus. And their defense was really what we took the positives from on Pearl.
5 stack towards the B site, slowly making their way over. Pays forward here. He does have a rifle, so he needs to be able to get out or at least have this rescuable, but that's not the case. Are we worried?
For Focus, no, not particularly. The loss of a Vandal will be a huge one, and I think Doma's happy to just head for the hills with this one in hand. The rest should be looking to die to the spike through vents in middle, but no chance at a round defeat, that's for certain.
Yeah, just for a minute though, I thought that that could be the case. The pistol player of Mosey looking to try and grab more orbs. Serial playing from here as well. Doesn't get his opportunity. So overall, rifle lost. He's maybe a little bit too far forward from the pack.
Yeah, it's sort of a situation where you live by the sword, die by it. I would like to see a Focus that is fully confident and backing their ability every round than one that doesn't want to take those kinds of engagements, but time and a place, as you say, against almost a full save, that being the Vandal irretrievable, is definitely a huge loss. Looking at the synergy between the two duelists here, though, it's going to be a quick ramp pop, something which Focus were very good at yesterday.
Especially with the jet rays. This is something that we've seen so many times. Shinnok stopping and will still able to stop Runner. Doma now trying to get away and Focus. Something that they were very good at was their macro game. Kamek could upset that. Serial to play up against and one out easily enough. On the A side of things, it's just stopped all around. Pays though 40 points of health. Still looking to scale.
Yeah, some space here for Focus. And with the smokes coming into screens though, it actually stops Pays from being able to take any additional ground, and Chiwa steps up to the plate and finds both anyway. Clean conversion of the anti-bonus for Job Life. And with that, they get on the board.
Yeah, I think like right here, the couple kills in, well, the kill in mid and then the stop onto the A site is very done well by Job Life. Reading into, I guess, maybe tendencies again from yesterday that Focus showed really good, as you said, at popping up ramp, but also at using mid to their own advantage and getting it in through vents. Serial, the one who usually breaks away from the pack, and has done so here as he holds down the A space and a very quick pop towards B.
Kamek already identified back pillar. Chiwa falls in place to try and help support him here, but there's plenty of utility to just overload the space. Chiwa's got work to do, his hands busy, as Runner arriving as well to try and save the situation. Will also drop at the hands of Pays. Again, a little bit of over-aggression could sell them short. Shinnok is low and Serial is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you're starting to see Unfake doubt himself, where the tendencies are working out to Focus's advantage. Unfake thinking it's A. We've seen a sight like this before, has it?
Yeah, it was elite yesterday, wasn't it? On that full rotation, I think.
Planted.
And with the spike now getting planted, Unfake does realise post-haste, so still time for him to make this a possibility. Shinnok, the low player, actually the one who isn't taking contact. He is sat back at the pillar where Serial was a little more in the open, but as it becomes, Unfake is going to be rounding the corner first into Shinnok, so the Jet player already on the line, but Unfake does find him. It's good information, and Serial's still healthy. 125 HP, with the spike not planted for him, and Unfake should be able to tank this at least to half. No, he's going to fully melt in the snake bite in the end, and so Focus continue to build on their advantage.
But losing everybody in the process. What does the money look like? Because this could be a bit of a rogue round from either team when it comes to the buy.
I think Focus going to be fine for money. Job Life don't have any though.
Yeah, they definitely don't. And this round, a bit topsy-turvy in terms of where things go. I don't know what Unfake's doing in the molly. Yeah, I mean, a couple of rifles in the mix for Job Life. It's a bit of a swing round potentially, considering how much Focus have put into the mix, and Shinnok not winning his duels, not going to set Focus up for success at all.
Yeah, it's a big opening kill, as you say. Focus still have money left in pocket, but Shinnok was on the blades there. And Pays already using the showstopper, not finding a kill through it. Means that Chua is going to tread with caution in the corner, but nobody is yet to root him out of position. It's just the one that he'll find with the paranoia. It's perfection! And Doma doubling down to find 3 kills from that exact spot in the tower. Focus sent an eviction notice. That one ends up being costly.
It's a disaster for Focus overall, Hazza, when you look at it, because there's a few players on 0 credits, maybe 50. I think there was 2 what, and then a couple players on 1,000 as well. The buy's broken, and Job Life was saving for next. Unbelievable stuff now. And this round, or this half, gets put into trepidation. A brilliant start to the attack half. But now Job Life the ones on the front foot.
Already making inroads towards the B site yet again. Signaling presence in B tower as Shinnok has already thrown down a smoke, and actually it will be followed up by one from Mulsey, his own dark cover. Keeping the interest of Job Life towards this end of the map. As you can see, Runner's already moved up in A main. And picked off the culprit, the smoker, Mulsey. Funny where that came from. Serial still behind him, but it's a bit of a slow roller in the end from Focus, and actually Job Life doing pretty well to handle things, everything considered.
Yeah, a flawless round will certainly build the confidence of this defense, but overall, again, the spike not going down, and I'm starting to worry about Focus, because what started off like a great half, couple of rounds looked a bit floundery, if I'm being honest. Really stopped at trying to get into the site.
Yeah, just the eco for now though, so I think all focus on the next round, and if this one starts to look up, then there will be cause for bringing the coaching staff back in. Plenty of ultimates on the Job Life side, and yeah, Kamek fighting from the corner of Garage here already finds one and nearly gets a second from a similar position. It's Unfake looking to follow it up instead. A 1-for-1 keeps Job Life with a man advantage.
Toxin screen down.
And very quickly you can see their priorities then start to shift. It's mid now where they want to try and fight as a group.
Yeah, looking to clear out any stragglers. It's Shinnok left all alone, and unfortunately he's been caught out. So Serial on the other side of them. Oh, pace! If we could have got one more, that round was winnable. But instead it's still left to Serial, who's investigating elsewhere, still on this A discovery.
And they have a rough idea where he is, or at least they know he's away from the rest of the pack. Runner with the op has the line, and Chua his back, so Serial will have to get past the sniper if he's to have any chance of winning this one. And you can even see the Job Life players dropping to an even deeper position in sewers as time continues to tick away.
Serial making sure to dot his I's, cross his T's, not get caught off guard, but Runners looked elsewhere, and that's giving Serial the chance. The last player on 5 HP in Chua, not wanting to give Serial the chance. Hoping that the spike plant perhaps distracts his opposite Viper player. Tap of the spike, and now goes to plant safe. There's no molly on Chua, so he goes up close and personal. Silent drop. Serial still thinking towards heaven as he goes towards CT.
Yeah, Chua's only 5 HP and Serial has the molly, so as soon as he hears a tap, he can go straight for it. And Chua needs this fight cleanly, a fight which Serial isn't willing to give him.
A slim opportunity. Chua clearing every corner, Serial walking away. Molly there, but picks up the molly at the wrong time, giving Chua a chance and losing out the round. A frustrating one for Focus, but Job Life have now got 3 rounds in a row.
The timing's so bad. The only reason that Serial even gets a chance in that round is because Runner looks away, popping the dash in sewers. Then, when it comes to the site itself, he misses the opportunity to catch Chua, goes back in with the molly, and that's when Chua takes the peak. And he ends up going down on just 5 HP as well, so in the end, it all comes good for Job Life, as it probably should have, but the circumstances very, very different.
Well, again, Focus looking to manipulate mid like they have done a couple of times, and they've found reasonable success overall. The utility being flung at either side here is there's an exchange, but nothing that really nets anything positive. But Serial, oh, he's not accounted for it. Does just see the lead and gets a second. Not quite the third, but an advantage nonetheless for Focus.
Runner one back in the conversation, and he's very soon to be put in the hot seat on this A site. Kamek is arriving, but he's just about going to get there in time.
You know, the Focus are identifying exactly where rifles are and looking to see if that's something that they can use to their advantage instead, though. After putting pressure towards A, moving B seems to be the right choice as Chua leaves that site, but does have a key point, a key bit of real estate to hold on to, Hazard.
Yeah, playing from Garage right now, and Joblife start to realize that this is a B play. Nightfall coming in should confirm it. Chua doesn't want to overextend and play his hand here, as there is Multi's position in vent, which should find Runner. It doesn't?
Remaining.
Oh my god! Chua with the double as well means that it's all wrapped up, it's done.
Focus just fall apart. After a brilliant start as well, I mean, Hazard, after that 3 rounds, they've shown us nothing. Joblife now 4 in a row. Keep counting, guys, because it could be a while before this one stops. Brilliant from Serial to get that double kill. That allows Focus to pick up a couple of weapons. And then from here, not identifying Garage. Of course, someone could be there, guys. That's the bit that confuses me from Focus. Very smart players like Luz, like Molsey, who have called for the longest time in Tier 2, in Tier 1. And you don't identify Garage as an issue? Come on.
I mean, I think it looked as if they were ready to double swing it together. Chua just that little bit sharper, to be completely real with you. More worried about there being a player stowed away in backside, and looking at it here, it's 4 from 5, 5 from 6, whatever you want to call it. Joblife have had much the better state of play. Best way to say it really is Focus have only won 1 of the gun rounds. All the rest, just the formalities that you get at the start after winning the pistol. So this is where you do begin to get really concerned for them. I think the thing that's impressed me most about Joblife, coming back to one of the prior rounds before the sewer incident, was just their proactivity and instantly recognizing when Focus takes space on one of the extremities that they then have the liberty to then go and search elsewhere, typically middle.
Welcome to my world.
This is a particularly weak side of the map, and it's Kamek the one to hold it down. Issue is here, Focus I'm not really clearing anything, not really doing much. They're just holding on, and Joblife are, I mean, not really tempting them with anything.
Just waiting for a little bit of information, I think, for Focus to make a call here. Something has to happen, and it is the B-pop that we're going to get. Kamek just playing for it. Happy to see Mulsi teleport into backside. Does get caught revealed in the process. Shinnok to take him out. But Unfake is that second layer following things up. Unfortunately, he's the only layer here. And so he's got a lot of work to do and has already done a pretty decent job at it. Doma, nothing from the showstopper. It's relied upon Runner to get things going. And with Pays not identifying this Garage wraparound from Chua, the pit dropped. Joblife continue as they left off.
5 rounds in a row. It doesn't stop. It doesn't get any better. At least Joblife, at least Focus still have a buy here, Hazard. But, and a couple of ultimates to back it. But Mosey TP's in to the back with little to no support. The utilities late. Focus just seems so disconnected at the moment. And Joblife, I guess for the most part here, in my opinion, are not necessarily being made to, I don't want to say sweat, but they're not being challenged.
Showstopper in from Pays to give round number 10 ignition. It was at this stage in the game on the previous map where things started to get away from them. Focus now with an iron grip, looking to hold on to things as it's only Kamek remaining in sight. He's the next to drop. A 5 versus 3 for the dark side. This surely their chance at another gun round.
Yeah, to stop the streak. Let's hope so. Viper's Pit not going to allow anything here. Job Life as they try to come in, get denied. Pays sharp shooting with 4 kills of his own. Member has it. He just used the showstopper and is almost halfway to another.
It's brilliant individual skill that he's able to show. But again, we look to the rest of the Focus cast and ask that of them as well, because it has to be consistent. This is just another round to bookend a streak of 5, which Job Life have already put up on their defense of this map. Looking at the compositions, very little difference other than the initiators, of course. But with how things have trended towards the attack side here historically, you've got to take every advantage you can get. Of course, Focus chose to start on this side this time around.
One down.
Well, they're being punished for it. I mean, at the same time, it could be maybe a case of getting a difficult side out of the way. But still, one more round.
Toxin screen down.
And things look pretty decent for Focus from their attack side. Sprung out the Seekers, try and get information. And they know that that one player is still in A main. Serial just does see a glimpse of Job Life towards top of ramp, trying to clear him out.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1 as Runner's already thinned the herd, spraying through mid at the start. No pays for Focus in this round, which was what I was talking about just coming out of the previous.
The good thing is, though, Shinnick still does have his dash. And there is only one player on A. That's easy to overwhelm.
Yeah, there is gap close here. Of course, Runner, his own movement utility to try and get out of dodge. He's not going to be able to. 140 to the dome of Shinnok, not enough to topple him. Focus get into another post-plant situation. Another of their star players has opened things up for them.
It has, and you look at the extensive post-plant, 2 players playing from main, so these 2 in elbow hazard really need to do well to hold on to things.
Counter utility comes in, sees from Lewis to try and slow down the pace. Shinnok over-delivering on just 10 HP, marshalling the situation for the rest of his squad as Lewis, still tucked away in backside, is able to find yet another. It comes down to Kamek in this clutch. 1 versus 2 where he is without a smoke for another 7 seconds. Has to play it in the open air. Molly at his feet and Molsey just waiting to capitalize. Is there time? I think there just might have been, but no HP to outlast the damage, and so Focus can double up in the end.
It's a big round to win out. It's 6-5. One more round away from equaling things at 6-6 for Focus. I think overall, if you move into the next half at 7-5 or 6-6 from the attack half of split, you're absolutely buzzing. It's just whether that defensive side looks as good for Focus. I mean, on Peril, I think it got past marks, so by that margin, perhaps you can start to think about the same.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Kamek would have actually lived that, because as you saw, he was right on the edge of the molly when he jumped out, and that's exactly the point at which it expired. It was going to be incredibly close regardless, but perhaps there's a world where he tanks it. It's on a very small amount of HP at that. And so just 1 round of difference here, and at this critical juncture in the half, similarly to what we saw on Pearl, Focus have stepped up to the occasion at last. Beginning the series with perfect pace yesterday against Misa in the lower bracket, of which they've been along for the ride since the very beginning. Job Life only dropping after that 2nd round loss. And now tasked with the possibility of getting pushed to a 3rd map. They want maximum returns from this first half.
See if that truly is, with ultimates here in which to use. The big execute ultimate being the Nightfall, and it's Focus identified through a big flash from Unfake. And Job Life right now has the focus isn't actually on the site, it's getting map control. I thought they were going to go for a flank instead. No, look to try and hold on to Heaven, and they do so successfully. It's 5 versus 4 in post in favour of the defence.
And it's another round with Focus. Without the services of Pays, Shinnok stepped up in the previous and he'll have to here, blades in hand. Pressure placed on main, as you can see the group up from Job Life. Full retake from this position with Kamek just playing spoiler in spawn.
Yeah, denial of the ultimate coming in, although the players in the corner have done so well. Maybe Shinnok could have gone one better, but he's denied his life, so Job Life will get 7.
And just not given the time or space to make that a possibility. Job Life so quick on the retake this time around when Focus had shown strength in post-plant previously. A 7th secured for them, so a meager advantage into the second half, but an advantage nonetheless, one which they'll look to carry home into the VCT.
One enemy remaining.
My ultimate is ready.
One half away for Job Life to qualify to VCT. Many attempts have they made over the years, but this is perhaps the closest they have ever gotten, Hazza. For Focus, they need to push it to a map 3 on Lotus.
Yeah, I look back at this Job Life side and all the different players that they've had. At least a stint in Tier 1 for most of them, but the only player to have had a full absence is Chiwa, of course. And right now, he is leading from the front. First chance to make it to Berlin with Job Life and Ascension denied last year due to external factors, and of course, BBL as he was selected for them at the start. This pistol round could mean absolutely everything. And as you can see, Job Life queuing up for a B execution. Pays the one on the other side. Couple times he's been caught. Not this time. Or so you'd think. It's absolutely collapsed.
Disaster. And Focus, the remaining 3, try to come back in. And realistically, you've only got the paranoia. And that's gone as well. A brilliant shot from Unfake.
So Focus down to their final 2 players. That gap of rounds expected to grow. We're able to win the initial pistol, but this is the one which counts for so much more because Job Life are on that preferred side. On their own map pick, chasing it down. Shinnok able to get away with one, but nothing else. Gets past Job Life. The B site crumbles beneath their feet. And the runway is there for the French side.
They have the opportunity, the momentum. A pistol round win on the attack is exactly how you want to start your half, especially with how difficult Split can be to attack into. Remember, Focus started their half with a pistol and was able to win out they were able to win only 5 rounds. Same fate could befall Job Life.
Focus vigilant here, trying to fight away at a main. As you can see, it's Chua and Doma dropped even deeper, trying to defend this space. Focus only on pistols for the time being. And I think now a great time as any to call back to those previous playoff stages that they've struggled in. This one opening up to 8 participants, of course, the first time we see them this year. Same could be said for Job Life. But the results in these bigger moments just not there for them right now. And with Runner cleanly closing up the distance on the B site, the Spike has plenty of time to arrive.
Can prioritise who you want the orb to really go to. The last 2 for Focus, just worried about a lurker. And at that time, yeah, this round just becomes easier and easier. It's just about who for Job Life they want to go and try and grab the extra orb as well. I imagine that will probably be Doma, but she were far away from picking up a rifle.
Yeah, a bit of time for the round to breathe, as what's left is dead rubber right now. Focus try as they might, only on classics. Job Life digging in their heels with rifles in hand. A 9th already set up here in proceedings. And so it will come to the full buy for Focus. Really, a full reliance on the next to keep their campaign alive. Brought down to only embers after it looked like they were on fire yesterday, but Job Life showing a golfing quality. And so far, I think a difference in experience as well being something that we need to talk about here.
Yeah, I agree. I think the experience is being shown in time to time. Job Life never seemed to panic, never seemed to get caught off. But on top of that, I think the other aspect to this that we need to speak about is we spoke about preparation at the very beginning, and I feel as if preparation has actually played a big part in this for Job Life. They seem to know exactly Focus's tendencies, maybe not something that they've over-prepared for, but just simple tips and tricks for the team to play off of, and it's worked to a T.
Scout destroyed.
So crazy to think that the 2 main contributors for Focus right now are the ones without the big stage experience, Paige and Shinnok. The double duelist doing it for them. And it's going to have to be Shinnok here again. Already spotting the garage push coming in, and he will get out for just a moment.
Yeah, but not for much longer. At least Molesy helps out, but Job Life have already overrun the site and looking to take what is their spot in VCT. Double digits, that's all it is. A bonus round conversion. That's what Paige and Lewis need to deny. Oh, the shot's not hitting. Job Life giving nothing away. 3 rounds away from VCT.
You have that EMEA Stage 2 play-ins bracket looking to tempt them now as Focus are unable to find the round which they need. In the round which was set up for them to win, they had the weapon advantage. It was such a strong bonus from Job Life regardless. And now they're really piling it on. As you can see, there aren't any ults for Focus coming up anytime soon. Nothing that can change the game. They're behind the curve in almost every metric.
Stay down.
And Runner is going to catch the opening kill there as well, as Focus do rally back with a couple of their own. Brought down to a melee there, Shinnok a second. Ooh. And the entirety of the A main push flattened. All of a sudden, this round has legs.
Molesy just needs to not give anything away. He needs to be the person that gives the information to the 2 rifle pack.
Shadows traveling.
This Job Life will look to get 1 back on their side at the very least, and it looks like it will be Molesy. 2 and 15 so far.
And so
player
for that
standing.
reason, exactly, Unfake just tries to dive in head first. But by himself, it's
Spike planted.
ill-advised. Gives the rifle over, and now it's a 3 versus 1 that Kamek has to try and play out of. Pays and Shinnok, the ones that found the breakthrough for Focus on this round, offering them a lifeline, something to hang off as Pays goes firing in himself. Now that is a dangerous situation, as Kamek was offered a couple of duels on favorable terms, but not favorable enough to win in the end. So Focus back on track, their first round of this defender's side.
50 round for Focus, and this is why you should never try and send it forward. Unfake maybe fancying his chances against a player who's underperformed so far. A disaster in that A main brawl. Yeah, at this moment in time, Focus find themselves 4 rounds away. What can they do with the lifeline that they've been handed? A stop of momentum, an operator on Shinnok, flush for cash at this in this buy, and they could make Job Life pay with that.
Job Life just dicing up how they want to crack open the A site. It's a play through into heaven there. Not quite sure if Pays actually spotted the progression of Runner.
I think he did.
Opening sequence has him towards spawn, and Mulsi is a little hesitant, but Runner still catches him off guard. Chua following things up, Doma in there as well, and this pack of Job Life players just sear through the Focus defense. Despite the call that may have been made, the preparation was simply not there. No response, no retaliation, and Shinnok forced to save this operator.
Yeah, I mean, Job Life just pick themselves up and dust themselves down and start throwing haymakers at Focus. The setup was to get Shinnok on the line early in B. Try and get that early information, and the rotate just is a little too late on a weak side of A.
It's also what Echo was talking about on the desk as well, and the strength of Sky, especially into Viper on both sides of the map. You can see those walls which create a cross-section in the A main choke, just allows for the flash to pop right out of there. Runner can updraft into heaven through the orb as well.
I actually don't think that...
And, you know, even though Mulsi must have received the call, just so far ahead, no one else there ready for it.
But like, the thing that worries me about this is you look at the dots all around the map, and for Focus, they're all on their own. There's no tradability. And it feels at this moment in time, this is a well-timed timeout, because Focus need to talk about things, not going to plan, making silly decisions, silly individual errors. And I think that it is such a contrast to yesterday against Misa, when I think the biggest compliment that we had for Focus was that they played together, that they played off one another, that if there was a kill, there was a trade every single time. And now today, Focus kind of finding themselves with a little bit of confidence from yesterday, I guess, and just trailing away from the game plan.
I guess so. I kind of want to disagree with the point, though. I feel like Focus, where they had confidence yesterday and they looked pretty well set up, at the same time here, I wouldn't even say it's overconfidence. It's more a lack of on some of these players. They're not making the play with conviction a lot of the time. It looks like Job Life are so much more in tune with what the game plan is. We saw it from the attack side setups. And now onto the defense. While 11 rounds aren't binding for them, this one means everything. Pays actually catches Runner right in front of him with a showstopper. Back onto the rifle, 2 more kills, but 2 in the conversation for Job Life. Time to reset now, as Chua is already making progression towards A. He has the whole site to walk into if he likes, and even spawn side where Focus have turned a blind eye.
Yeah, the fact that he has immediately pivoted and knows exactly the decision he needs to make, feels if Shinnok has an idea, it will allow for at least a spike to go down. And already, Focus have an idea, has it, and begin to re-clear towards A.
Spike planted.
It's an open plant for Job Life through the control that Chua has enabled them in heaven, and this is something that Focus will need to be thinking about. What a shot from Shinnok, sharp as you like on the blades. And with Doma dispensed from the situation, Chua is anticipated. This time Mulsi won't be caught off guard, and Focus have a 7th round.
I think with this gap of 4 and Focus given the opportunity, again, it comes through an individual play through Pays in towards B. Also, well, I mean, Chua nearly given the opportunity himself as he got a quick double kill on his own. Just unlucky as run up. And then Pays finding his third there is what puts the cherry on the cake. The retake fairly easy in the end, but could have been difficult. This is a quick A-pop, look at this. And with Kamek set up the way he is, a paranoia to top a ramp could be difficult to deal with for Shinnok.
Does have an operator though, so it's only going to take 1 bullet in the mid-drift for him. Has the tools to get out and uses them at his own discretion. Runner removed early, and Doma trying to play chase through the shadows of this Viper wall right now as Shinnok continues to belt out shot after shot, just signposting his authority. Job Life given enough room to get into the site, but Lewis backfilling this space does require support, spammed out of position by Chua, leaving Mulsi behind, and he wants nothing to do with it.
Chua anticipating the CT push as well. In this corner, I think Shinnok knows.
Has to be some kind of idea. Actually swaps out for a Phantom with his teammate. Mulsi now on the operator and has the tools to try and make something happen, but with this blockade, a smoke of their own in the front of the face of Shinnok, thought it would have been an issue, but no, it can't block bullets. Kamek to drop, Chira as well, and just blind firing through.
Wow.
The duelists of Focus have made it happen yet again.
I mean, there's a little bit of luck in there, you have to be honest. Focus, you know what, mate, you've got to take everything you can get. Within 3, ultimates coming online, and Job Life in post. I think the biggest mistake here for me is not just popping and hitting that A main, right? Why are you letting your duelist take contact when the paranoia is set up for top ramp anyway? It feels like that's maybe the disconnect there on the push. But a timeout for Job Life now. Stop the momentum. 2 rounds in a row for Focus.
And look, we've seen the value that these timeouts have given Job Life. The previous map is the best example, as Focus was starting to mount a comeback of their own from many rounds down. 11-3, I think it was, to an eventual 13-10. It's not much that's gonna make the difference for them here, I think.
Yeah, it's for Focus, making sure they don't get caught off guard by whatever adaptations we see from Job Life. They need to take their time. They've got big retake ultimates. Just give nothing away. It needs to be conservative, I think, in their approach. I mean, your strong side should be the one to stand a little bit further forward, and that looks to be the case as we look at B main, and they will meet the spike pack for Job Life.
2 rounds in a row now that we've seen a similar setup from Focus. Pays here with the support of Mulsi. The difference is this time Shinnok invited to the party as well. Pays trying to get something done and does so. Another double kill from his Vandal, and with Shinnok to support, that extra player doesn't get through. Job Life down to their final 2. And with both of them currently in A ramp, it's a long way to go to retrieve the spike. Focus have done enough to bring this back within 2, and not only that, Cairo, when you look at the money, you're sort of expecting this to close up into a 1-round game.
I guess so. I guess so. I think the thing is, though, with Kamek having 2k and also Chiwa, runner on there or thereabouts, probably get a half buy in the next, so maybe it might not be as easy to get that 1-round game. And well, it seems if Unfake and Doma are saving. 40 seconds of chat to be had between the players. I think if you can keep both rifles,
30
you
seconds
would come
left.
into the next with a good buy.
I mean, looking at the results for Job Life on this map, they are 2-2 this stage, both wins coming in overtime. Be hoping that it isn't the case here against Focus. Mulsi wandering, he gets caught. An unfake on a Bulldog, so actually probably not the worst situation if he loses it. Would like to have found at least one kill though, as it has opened up the rear guard and allowed for Focus to clean the slate. Everything lost from that one for Job Life.
Yeah, everything.
Still enough money to make a hazardous purchase here.
Yeah.
We just have to see if they still believe in whatever it is that was discussed in that timeout.
Yeah, that's it. I think that right now, like, we think towards Peril, the timeouts did actually work out. It is going to be the full purchase for Job Life. They need a spike plan, they need a round win. Lose this and Focus have got the runway rolled out for them. The finish line. Perhaps easier to grab than one might think. Job Life really taking their time to walk round the map, worried about this operator as it announces itself in mid.
Yeah, it's a little combo of utility though that just sights it out yet again. Smoke and a dog, as Doma has already taken all of B site by himself using the showstopper. Spike is heading towards A, however, just in anticipation of a Focus rotate. And it is bang on.
Yeah, Doma just needs to not overplay.
Hanging off of the rope as it stands. Lewis here to try and interrupt.
Spike
catches the
down
spike
A.
on the back line. Just flanking the two players who had already made it onto the A site there. Chua in the meantime finds a kill screens, and it is pandemonium right now. 4 Focus players past the aggressive line here for Job Life means that it's only Chua left behind on the site. They've got control of the spike again. But here's Doma. He's creeping up, and with that, Serial shows him the door, round over. Job Life can't make it happen, and so Focus do make it a one-round game.
I mean, I totally understand the whole, like, round in terms of you try and fake towards B. Focus do get interested from the minimap. They don't necessarily know that. The rotates late, Job Life get the site. But from there, Job Life make mistakes that we've seen from Focus. They don't anticipate that maybe there's a lurker hanging around, especially with the spike not heard. You'd leave an anchor behind just to make sure. That's Lewis here. He fells the spike, and then, well, the jig's up. It's known about. And then once Focus win the site fight, then after that, it's like, well, guys, it must have been the B players who were faking. We need to anticipate that, and it's as easy as like the kind of just winning out your fight. In the end, not much of a bother at all for Focus. And this round, with a mixed buy, should probably be one of the easiest wins for Focus to equal things out. Should be is the key word here in the sentence.
Shinnok is in position here with the op again, of course. It's his opposite number runner, rifle in hand, that you think would be the most pertinent of the issues that Job Life can put on Focus's doorstep here. Lewis thinking about a Nightfall and second guessing himself, finally goes for it. That's going to hit at least 3 or 4 different targets. Serial walking past a couple of them, and well, this is where it happens, of course. Should the operative word in the sentence, as you said, but no guarantees against this strong Job Life side. A 5 versus 3 with them holed up in the heavens, counting down those last 45 seconds to win the round, which would put them on play-in's point. But Lewis has answered back in the meantime. Answered back with 3 big kills that leave us at an even standing again.
30 seconds left.
Shinnok just needs to be careful. The players are moving into his crosshair.
It's whether he's on the line in time, but he steps away just as Unfake walks up. Correct in due course. Spamming away into the cloudburst. Chua just can't catch him. Shinnok, ever evasive, slips right through the fingertips of Job Life. as this map may very well too. 11 all.
I'm going to be honest. Yeah, do you know what, mate? This is turning into just a death match, it seems. Shinnok not seeing Unfake has to be criminal, but at the same time, so well played from Luz, and that's why he's in this roster. His experience, his rifling ability, the headshot king as he was once known, that crown long gone.
To my world.
But sometimes shows the goods when he needs to. A Viper's Pit in mid is an issue that Joblife will struggle to deal with. And an operator deep on an A line.
Shinnok still showing respect to this Viper wall on A from Joblife as they have conditioned pressure on this area of the map multiple times. But on the penultimate round, they are heading back into Pays again in Garage. And while the first isn't clean, he has felled the spike behind enemy lines yet again. Kamek does trade him eventually. And this is where the right-hand side starts to open up a little more.
You think that, but Shinnok's op still lurking around. An issue for Joblife, and they're going into Serial's domain. That's not where you want to go. Joblife offering mistake after mistake, and Focus capitalizing has it.
30 seconds left.
So it looks like it will be overtime again if Joblife are to make it through this series unscathed. Else Lotus is the fate deserving of Focus. We have seen them battle back brilliantly into this one.
Satchel out.
And with only Doma left standing, he'll get a chance to plant, but that's about all. He's managed to find one of the players. It's Mulsey who was bearing on down, but time has escaped him now. And Serial has put an end to things. So Focus, the first team to find map point here, after losing 4 out of the opening 5 rounds in the second half, with the deficit already at their backs. Joblife have not had a word in edgeways.
I promise you, Hazza, one more 1v1 is gonna win this map for Joblife. I promise you, man. That's basically what it was that round. 5 one-on-ones, which Focus won every single time.
Yeah.
Last rifle round, and only one ultimate is Shinnok's. It's just going to be a quick pop on towards A, and the spam working out. Shinnok looking to make this to be a Focus round, a Focus map. 3-on-3 is where it settles, and Doma could be the difference maker. Push it to OT. But I promise you, one more one-on-one as the spike goes down.
It looked like Doma got caught in the headlights there a little bit with the ultimate, but a reposition from Chua underneath Heaven could be everything if it can play in Kamek.
It's a big F. Mosey already out, and Serial got his kill on towards Kamek. It's up to Chua to play from the corner. And there's a player above him! There's a player above him, and he's not cleared! Chua now one-on-one up against Mosey, who's had a nightmare, let's be honest, but he has corrected his course. Chua can see the spike's not being defused. He doesn't need to give away his position. Mosey knows where he is, and we'll win out! It's a Focus map, and we're going to Lotus!
The captain's back to offer relief, and as troubled a time as he has had on Split, that clutch will count for everything. Focus are going all the way to Lotus in a series which has seemed unpredictable at the best of times, because Joblife should have had this one completely wrapped up. It has managed to slip through their fingers though, and for all of the times that we've seen them in Ascension, forever cursed as that first seed from France, could this possibly be the way that they drop out of the competition in a catastrophic fashion to a team which has been in VCT before and will be looking to return after a 4-year absence?
Yeah, we'll see if that is the case, but let's throw it to the analysts and see what they think, Hazza.
I mean, we called Focus the Clutch Kings earlier today. I didn't really think we meant it in a macro sense, but here we are. With Focus 2 maps in a row bringing out, well, a fake comeback and then a complete comeback. That was absolutely ridiculous stuff down to the wire from Focus, and it just seemed like Job Life, you know, yes, they're a great team, but this is the Focus that we saw yesterday. This is just players popping off and giving them no chance to be the better team, right? Job Life were playing well that whole time. Focus did not let them. Pays did not let them enact any kind of plan, Echo. Oh, no audio from you, Echo.
Echo.
Gonna need to get a reset on that one. Go on, MP.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a great map in the end from Focus. Pace on the spearhead right there. Obviously, a great player. But the demise from Job Life, at least in my eyes, was that 3-0-2 setup that they played. Why were they just walking into that operator? 3 players towards B, 1 kind of playing around mid, that's being unfake, and 2 players towards that A area. And it felt like every time they did that setup, it fell apart. And there was nothing that Job Life could do in that second half, especially later stages of that. And I think, Echo, you're back. What was the point that you made?
It was just that Mulsey, who had a bad start to that map, like a bad start, was the one to close it out in a clutch, in such a Focus fashion to win it there. And I mean, he didn't perform well, but the rest of his team was there the whole map.
Yeah, I think this was just a ridiculous one. I mean, mostly, look, again, we've seen a lot of this from the teams in this tournament. It's one player midway through the series puts the team on their back for a little bit and just gets everybody hyped back up. MP, would you say Pays was that person this time around?
I mean, this time around, almost every time around, it's pace, popping off, finding every single kill that he can find. And for me, when I'm looking at my notes, here are, Pace getting a 3k, Pace another 4k, Pace question mark, Pace is just mental. Like, he's doing everything right as well. And this was the round 9 retake as well coming through. Pace was popping off. Bit of luck on the side of Focus as well, but a great retake. Pace coming in with that confidence. Brilliant player for the side of Focus. Without Pace, I think they would have lost this so many times out of 100, probably 99 out of 100, but somehow Pace just bringing them back all the time. What a player.
He's been playing since 2022. He didn't really get his first big shot until probably Gamax back in 2025, last year. But now he's on Focus and he is performing incredibly. This essentially player, just for me at least, came out of almost nowhere and now is dominating Dark, coming into this position. And even when his team is losing, he is winning. He is what carries them through. Pays is the truth.
Yeah. I mean, so many times we saw Pace like fighting B Garage. I think this was the domain of Pace. I think at one point Job Life kind of feared on coming into that. Another clip. B Garage is Pace's domain. Don't come there. Don't fight against him. But I mean, my notes even kind of highlighted at the earlier stages of this map on the first half and earlier stages of the second half. I already typed Job Life were a much cohesive group. Where I thought this was over, and I think so many of you probably thought this was over as well, but somehow we are on map number 3 and I don't know what is happening.
Yeah, from what, 11-3 to 13-10 on the first map, and then from 11-5 to 13-11 on the second map. Focus are definitely heating up in the latter stages of the maps. This time it was enough to get them a win. Can they do it a third time? We're going to find out very shortly after this break.
Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, hit him top, let him take shots. 007 on the block, keep the aim hot. Pull up to the spot with the squad, let the bass drop. Laser on the arc, brought the chop, this a K
Hello everybody, welcome back to EMEA Challengers Stage 3 Playoffs. And the most important game we've had of the whole playoffs has come to a head. We are down to our final map on our final match that really means a qualification spot here for play-ins, right? The loser of this game will be going into LCQs. The winner will be going directly into the play-ins. And Focus refused to die. They refused to go down without a fight, right? They were down so much. 11-3 on that first map. They almost came back into it. JobLife just about stopped them on that one, but this time around JobLife could not stop them from coming back from 11-5 to 13-11. So this is a ridiculous one, Echo. The last chance now to avoid LCQs.
Yeah, this last chance, and this is the pressure on. We're going to have to see how well these players can survive in the pressure cooker that is this super impactful, super important game. And now it's going to Lotus. We've talked about Lotus a fair bit because it's the crux of this series. It was either going to go to Lotus or Ascent, and both of those map picks favor JobLife so incredibly heavily. But we said that for Split.
I mean, JobLife, couldn't go all the way through in Split. I think maps traded in terms of not winning their own map picks, but now in Lotus. I think, Echo, you kind of highlighted that as well, that they are going back to the Cypher. They are picking Cypher again in Lotus, and Chihuahua on the Cypher is such a scary sight to see. It was no wonder why we kind of highlighted Chihuahua at the end of that first map, because he was so detrimental on the side of Focus on how they attacked. And Chihuahua, I don't think he had his best performances in Vice. I don't think it's necessarily the best agent for him. Or maybe just the comparison between Vice and Cypher. Chihuahua, obviously known as a Cypher player, did play a little bit of Rain, I think, back in the days as well. But
Sure.
That Cypher is his main. It's devastating sight to see.
Well, between these two teams now, I think, look, the thing is, both teams want it so bad that a lot of our kind of prep about them, a lot of what we have about them on paper kind of goes out the window. Focus did say to us in their interview after their last win that when their backs are against the wall is when they come alive, right? And that was what that 13-4 and 13-4 was against me. So that was the point, was their backs were against the wall. They were facing elimination. Maybe they qualify in that game if Na'Vi Jr. win against JobLife. Once again, they found themselves twice in a row with their backs against the wall. The first time they couldn't quite make it work on their map pick, but I mean, even more so, backs against the wall on their opponent's map pick, down by 6 rounds, they managed to come back. Echo, do you see it happening again, or are they running out of steam at some point here?
It feels like they're not running out of steam. They are building up speed. I think they're using the steam to get to that point. But for me, the most important thing coming into this is that we can't rely on the comebacks. It didn't work on Pearl. You can't hope that it works here on Lotus. You need to be starting strong. And we talked about this before, that starting strong is a big thing for this team, making sure that they can start as strong as possible. But as we've seen, Focus are struggling a little bit with that. JobLife much better, which they've improved on over the course of this stage. And as we head into Lotus, these first opening couple of rounds to me are going to tell us a lot of how this map is going to go.
But I think they're improving round by round, map by map. Focus are getting better first halves, as we saw from Pearl in the Split. It's interesting to see what happens here as well.
Yeah, I think on the flip side, though, maybe, look, we're talking about Focus because they're the ones that are coming back into this one. They're the ones doing something impressive there. Maybe on the flip side, should we be talking about how JobLife cannot seem to finish their dinner? JobLife get to that critical stage, right? And they go, oh, my belly is so full. And they just can't do it. They can't get over the line somehow. I mean, they did eventually on that first one, but it took them, what, 7 7 rounds of streak losses to get back into the game and manage to win those last 2. Is this going to become a problem for them? If not here, then later down the line, either in LCQs or in the VCT planes, if they want to make a deep run into that, Echo.
I think it might, because we've seen this as a consistent pattern from this team. Their last 2-0 win was back at the first match of Stage 3. They go 2-1, whether they win or whether they lose. They take it all the way, which shows that they have the tenacity to get there and sometimes win, like they did against Barca, they did against MIR, and they did against Navi Juniors. But they also sometimes lose it, and that is where that steam can run out. But now, we talked about the map comps a little bit, but actually we've gone Chiwa back to the Vice. This is not what we were expecting. This is... Are we sure this is right?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if there are just some kind of adaptations coming through in terms of Focus running that race on the other side. Or not Focus running that. Yeah, Focus running that race. I'm sorry. I'm getting all baffled here by Chiwa going back to that Vice. Maybe they don't want to run the Cypher composition because pace is so easy to break down those trips. If you're running just Cypher on C, you can just throw Paytails in there and it could be so much harder. Interesting adaptation anyway from the side of Job Life, especially with the way that they've gone in this map. They won both of their games with the previous comp.
Yeah. Like, if anything, I mean, of course, maybe Focus don't have prep for this one, or at least the prep that they had for this one has been thrown in the trash. It's gone out the window. They have a new comp now, so why would we prep up against an old one? So there's a silver lining there to that, but a Job Life prepared to take an old composition that... I mean, the new one was working just fine and implement it once again. This is definitely interesting to me, but maybe if they're choosing it now, Echo, they feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that old. They only played it a couple of days ago against Barca.
Yeah, well, it is time now to see if they can cast their minds back to that. I mean, both of the comps they've run have worked, so we'll throw it over to the casters now, Hazza and Cairo.
Yeah, maps like this, a lot of those statistics, trends go out of the window. Job Life with a 4-0 unbeaten record on Lotus, but just this one map separating them from qualification to VCT EMEA. And with how Focus have responded in the last couple of maps, if they can set the tempo early, there is nothing to say that this one cannot be stolen away in quite dramatic fashion.
Launching thorns.
Yeah, I mean, Focus 1-1 for Challengers 3. But since Lewis rejoined the roster, they are 4-1. Actually a pretty decent record when you look overall. Focus began to scale up pretty quickly onto the A side.
Onto the attack side. Team A in the veto, they got to pick this. It's exactly where they wanted to begin things. And already weaving their way through into an empty B site as Kamek has left this one open for the taking. Shinnok just a distraction. Players pushing up behind. Spike escorted towards C now, in fact, as it's gone all the way around the globe. Serial and Pays chipping in the meantime. Chiwa's got it all to do on 3 points of health, and that third kill will just slip away from him, as the last map did for Job Life. Focus putting their best foot forward.
Brilliant pistol round win to get, especially after that comeback on Split. It felt as if it was a pretty bleak affair at 11-6 on that second map. We all thought that this was basically done and over. Push to the third map. This is where I want to bring in this statistic, Hazza. 70% attack round win rate for Focus. I understand it's Lotus, I understand it's a 3-site map, but that stat line is ridiculous.
Seeing Shinnok on this Neon, Pays on the Raze. Bit of a change up in terms of the double duelist. Usually be the other way around on some maps, but signs of comfort for them. Already Shinnok has found 1 kill on this round, not without an equal exchange. Chiwa on the other extremities dropped one of the pistols, and Kamek actually with his own classic, another one. Doma close to the smoke, and just for a moment you thought there might be something in it, but no. Focus set for the anti-eco, sparing any heroics.
Yeah, Chua with a brilliant shot. I mean, that's the thing about Job Life. The pistol rounds, or the pistols, sorry, do look dangerous.
Yeah, Chiwa's got fully past this though. Cairo, they have no idea! He was 2 for 2, and the 2 easiest kills are gonna pass him right by.
Yeah, the sweat on the brow for Focus can be wiped off. Lucky boys are they.
And he hits the 2 hardest shots, and then he misses that!
Mate, it's insane. But listen, you've got to take what you've got to take here. At the same time, yeah, I think like that. It's interesting that Doma moves from being a Raze to an Omen. For a lot of teams or a lot of coaches that I've spoken to, they criticise the changing of roles, like how you can sometimes be at the front of a pack and now, I mean, if you think about an Omen towards the back, Serial's done well to avoid all utility here. Oh, that should have been free.
Yeah, can't capitalise on Runner's positioning though through the jump spot. Job Life now treading with caution as pressure applied towards A. It is Serial though, and again, with him being the one usually detached from the pack, you're expecting player presence C. That has now duly been noted by Chiwa through the Poison Orb. So what do Focus want to do with this knowledge in mind?
Brilliant nades, good sees. Yeah, it's fantastic. So you take that advantage, and now Focus, really the question is, where do we finish? Because Job Life have a question of, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Serial's
Serial actually got all the way into the A site, and it looks like he's going to call over the rest of Focus. Unfake wins the duel that goes down on C, but the point I wanted to raise was I think on Pearl, they played a lot of these 4-1s, then didn't lean into the conditioning of that lurk. This time it looks like Focus are a little bit more aware of their own weakness. And having opened up the A site for themselves here, we should move into a 4v4 post plant. That's if Job Life don't go quickly out of Blue Room.
Oh, Moses played the wall against Job Life, but still loses out. And Runner denying the spike plant. So Serial and Shinnok have to try and clutch up. Shinnok identifying the players through main, but it's about the spike plant. Time is low and it's still not being attempted. Finally is, and Shinnok now is absolutely running rampage. A bonus converted, and Job Life have not got an answer.
One of the highest potential prospects coming into this year is now delivering on the biggest stage that he has ever seen in his career so far. The wide swing, drawing the attention of Runner and finishing off the deal with 4 bullets to his name. Focus convert the bonus of their attack side, and now Job Life have some serious questions to answer.
Oh, it's another A fight, one which Job Life have proven to make an issue for Focus. So I know those pistols in the mix here, but it just does not get any better. Remember that stat line in the back of your head, 70% attack round win rate, and you can see why with how Focus have started this attack. The macro game plan looking on point.
Still some errors though, which were punished by Job Life in the previous round. While we have the time to address it, the round now given a chance to breathe after that opening kill, Focus in a 5v4. There were gaps in the way that they wanted to try and take the A site, and again, I don't want to see them overcomplicating things too much. They have been playing pretty simple in terms of their defaulting as well, but it's always coming down to the details. The execution is where they have struggled at points. Onto the B site now, though, where they'll be looking to end. And Shinnok can't clear out Kamek. That is a big kill from the Viper player. He'll follow it up with yet another. The advantage lost. In fact, it's in favor of Job Life. Serial looking to answer in kind. The spike has gone in, and there's a chance for rifles to be recovered. In fact, both players are stuck in this elbow, and Job Life just steal away the eco.
Yeah, I mean, the threat was there, and the anti-eco and Focus didn't really take it seriously. again, they make the mistake, go B on an eco round, and I've said it so many times, if you're on Haven, if you're on Lotus, you don't go B on an eco. And yeah, mistakes made by Focus. I was getting maybe a little bit ahead of myself, considering the start that Shinnok and Focus had that bonus conversion. But we're right back down to earth here.
And it's those calls again. Gaps opening up in the round when you could see the space that Focus wanted to try and take, a little bit of a disconnect in the play towards the blue room and also towards Waterfall as well. So looking at it now, they've still got a buy beneath them.
Bring them down.
But that is a massive opportunity left hanging for Joblife to grab onto. Runner with the showstopper in this round. Lewis, Molsey, just you know, one orb away. Hayes and Serial a couple themselves, so plenty of tools for the attack to swing this.
The fact that Joblife have so much A space is going to be a real issue for Focus, because you can already see the lane coming through.
Also, looks like they want to head into this C site where it's Vice Viper stacked up again.
Two anchors you just do not want to deal with, Chiwa and Kamek. Not even just the agents, they're going to do it anyway, going to send it in. Kamek looking to get around and get onto the fight, and well, it is going to be a trade out, but one that Joblife will end up, I thought, taking the advantage from. Not the case. Site forfeited in 3-on-3.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, you can see how effective it is against double duelists, but Focus have managed to move into a post plant here, and actually Molsey has decided on the A site instead. Now, it will be a foot race to A, but it looks like Focus have the step ahead for now.
Yeah, the advantage, they'll be there first, but it's still a full stack of Joblife players who work together, and that's going to be the biggest advantage for them.
I think as well, Joblife may be worried about a second layer because Focus were so quick to take the A site, no hesitation. Open plant now, and all players in main.
No more ultimates to really be the difference now, so defuse coming through. The spam not there. Guys, Focus have just let this go completely. They were there on site, gave up the space, and I don't even know what's happened.
Doma yet to find a kill so far in this map, but the biggest contribution he can give is a smoke after his passing. Focus make the mistake of leaving that one unchecked, and despite winning the duels all the way back, they can't do anything in the dirty air. And so it's another round which passes them by after such a perfect start, Cairo. They win the bonus, and while there's still money for them here and those weapons kept, it's an A brawl that they need to find.
I think the biggest issue that they have is trying to convert from advantages and finding positions. I mean, right now they're in an advantage. That's the big thing here. Pays finds himself an avenue in which to work up through stairs. Doma now under pressure in towards Tree, still not able to find a kill, but Focus again find a site for the spike to go down on, and this time I'm sure they won't make the same mistake as last time.
Yeah, as much as Focus have been throwing away opportunities in the last couple of rounds, I have to say you've got to be worried for Joblife at this stage in the game. 2 versus 4. Who are trying to play back in, gets one, but just look at the site hold on this round. It felt like the two anchors were on different postcodes, and Focus have made full advantage of the situation.
The Dark community watches with bated breath as Kamek comes back into sight. Focus up to 4. A team representing a community underrepresented, it's fair to say, has it. CGN probably the best of that, making third all the way back in Ascension 2020 for 4.
Yeah.
Then not only that, the other aspect that you've got to consider is that there was never a German team in VCT.
No.
It's all the way back pre-partnerships that you have to look. I mean, in terms of German players, the most recent procs, but before that, this community has just not had the players to support.
Yeah, Click, Harmy, only a handful. And the latter are stand-in for Liquid, of course. But as you say, the last time the DAC crowd descended upon the Riot Games Arena in Berlin, it was a night to remember, even though they ended up losing it. Valorant, of course, as well, as I've been reminded by chat. Can't leave him out, of course.
Completely forgot about
But
Alo.
we like to count the sort of technicalities, don't we? Jokes aside, yeah, I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, if you've been to any of the DAC lands in Tier 2, these teams are so well supported. Focus will have to go all the way to the playoff stage if they are to see the crowd. But right now, they've done the community proud, and I've got to say, looking at the job life side of things very quickly, I am seriously concerned for them, because the rounds that they're winning are coming with a certain element of luck to them. And the rounds that they are losing just feel catastrophic at times. It feels like we are seeing a collapse in motion, and something has to happen to stop it.
I mean, at the same time, that exact statement that you've made is something that we could attribute to Focus on the last 2 maps, really.
And that's where the shift has come in, though, in momentum. And again, I remind you, with how Focus have started a lot of these group stages, playoff brackets, it's never been easy for them. Now they're starting to ride the momentum of this lower bracket and take those losses on the chin. You're finally seeing the full form of them.
Yeah, Focus. Your boy Lewis, a little bit under pressure here. He's able to at least grab one, but it's a bigger loss in his life because he gives a rifle over to Job Life. Runner, though, is he going to be able to get one? He certainly is. 8 HP. If he could have got one more, it would have been an absolute godsend. Not the case. Pays now up to the mark, and that spike to go down. So 1 rifle between the last 2 remaining players. Unfake the one with it as he tries to clear out towards heaven and sends a bullet through the dome of Pays. He's got to try and attempt a 2 versus 1 and doesn't have any clearing utility. His horn a while away. Both players now playing from tree. This should be very difficult to try and deal with as he swings round. Doesn't even get a chance at the fight. Focus up to 5. A difficult round, but one they get through nonetheless.
There you have it. Focus picking up the required round against Pistols. Few of these have slipped the net for them over the evening, but
One enemy remains.
it's at this point in the game now where, look, you're seeing players like Molsey take the game by the reins. Maybe he's not had the best of calls throughout the series, but in terms of individual performance, now popping back up, huge confidence booster after winning that clutch to see them through split. And almost everything on this round for me, really. Job Life need to show some signs of life. This is a chance for them to get a 3rd and any kind of control back into the map, and series, but Pays comes crashing down on their heads with another triple kill. Many more multis from the man who has shown exactly what it means to play to these occasions. And Job Life will be forced to save and just mull in their despair.
I mean, there's plenty of cash on Focus, so you're already seeing players starting to think about the hunt. Especially with an operator in play.
Yeah. And the money that Focus have started to build up now too.
Night, night.
Desk was talking about Pays earlier. Actually failed to mention part of his career, I think, which was most defining, at least in my eyes, that stint on Diamant where he first broke out. That's where you're expecting him to kick on, join one of the big organizations that we had come into North and Northeast in the following year. Part of a bigger project never happened, not until Focus now, where really you've seen a roster give credit to his qualities. Such an exciting talent, and with basically everyone on form, not a single player negative now for Focus, this is the difference maker.
I think the big aspect right now is that Doma is 0 in 8. A player that was more than double digits, I think almost positive in the last map. Someone will need to correct me. And changing his role up from playing to an Omen, which is vastly different from that of a Raze. He's struggling a little bit, and that's not like him. Could that be down to the rolls? Could it be down to the third map? That's the question.
Bring them down.
Joblife have information that Focus are through the middle of the map right now. A pit on C for Kamek, and the operator of Runner still just moving around behind their own toxic screen, locked in on Rubble. Joblife have pretty much all the control that they could ask for, whereas Focus still sat at the spawn barriers, trying to decode what exactly it is the defense are up to.
How do they try and defuse the Viper's pit also? That's the other question that will be on the mind. They're making sure not to get caught off guard by anybody in C Mound. It seems as if it's going to be
the steel garden and a direct send straight into it. The worst case scenario, Kamek has a shorty and Malsi's managed to get over the top of it. You can see here he is down to the pistol.
30
And
seconds.
with Malsi winning the duel, confidence firing through his veins again. Runner and Kamek fumigated from the pit, and with that Pays again finding huge impact and offering relief for the rest of his side.
Yeah, he's been a mercurial player, but that double kill's huge. Unfake now, at least gets one.
Where are you?
Just lets the rest of Focus know his position. Paranoia confirms where Doma is arriving from. Both of them draw blood. It's all on Pays, as he has drawn the eyes of many from his time in this stage. It's not going to happen in the 1v2. And Joblife pick up yet another on the road to redemption. A second map loss, which they really should have converted. And a slow walk back on the unfavored defensive side of Lotus to keep this streak unbeaten.
Yeah, Lotus defense can be very difficult, but not as difficult as a Haven defense. Not to be misconstrued. We've seen teams thrive on this side. It's just not been the case for Joblife so far. I mean, Pays leading the line for Denmark elsewhere, showing that they can qualify to major tournaments nationally. Operator out for Runner.
A few more rounds for Joblife here, and you're right back in the game. Suddenly, this doesn't feel like anywhere near a dominant half from Focus. To be honest, scoreline should be about 8-1 right now if they hadn't let a few of them pass them by. It does get revealed though, and has to expend both blast packs on C-Mount to find himself in the safety of the site. Doma catching Serial on quite a quick play through B by his timings.
I think that's the thing though, he's playing aggressive like he did on Split, and that's what's working out for him.
Ambitious.
Agency, I think, is probably the best word to use right there. They're heading in towards the Vice setup though, and that's going to be an issue.
See, Runner is ready for this. Has a showstopper to fall back on. Pays one away from his, and I think that's exactly the tool he would have been hoping for.
Left.
It's a TP over the wall here. No, there was a slide as well. So actually, Unfake has caught wind of the situation. Joblife are ready to defend the A site with their lives, and the spike, having yet to cross to the site itself, will be stopped in its tracks by Chua. Pays the final remaining player. He completed his rotation from the other side of the map, but there's nothing left for him to salvage. So Joblife get their fourth, Cairo, a 2-round gap. Just as good as Focus were looking at the start of this one. The stars sending them forwards. When they're without those magic moments, a little bit of gold dust here and there, they don't look like anywhere near the level of team.
They do not. At the same time, that money's starting to dwindle on Focus, and it's 6-4. You wonder, do Joblife have a gap, a window in which to try and climb back in to this map? I mean, at 4 rounds in itself, it feels like that, right? But it could get better, and the operator already seen by Pays. But it's easily read by Joblife. No contact on towards the operator. The players shift in. That's a 3-stack. The Joblife will soon have possibly 4, depending on how quick the B players are.
This is exactly the setup from Joblife. That operator sighted early and the rest of Focus guided into an A push. If they want to try and head towards B, they're going to need to create at least a little bit of pressure first, you would think. It's Pays who attempts to get over the wall, but Chua is able to pick him up, no problems asked. And just like that, actually, with Kamek dropping, Focus have managed to build a bridge across to this A site and find some success despite the utility in front of them. Doma, in the meantime, trying to interrupt things, does a decent job at least at stopping the spike for a moment. Unfaking the pit, though, is completely solo 3v1. Joblife have encircled Focus on spot, but Focus still yet to get that plant or find the kills that just alleviate the pressure. Open up the valve instead. Joblife bring it within 1.
Yeah, Focus get on towards site, and then they think it's a game of musical statues. The music hasn't stopped. They need to get a move on and be a little bit more protagonistic. They're waiting for the players to peek them, and at the end of the day, Focus just hold. Joblife just hold the angles and win the duels. This isn't a kids' party, Hazza. This is a VCT qualification match, and we need to be seen better.
Oh, we definitely do. And on the Joblife side, you can only commend how they've responded. As the night grows long, they have continued to build in character. Runner once more sighted towards C, but this time Focus with ambitions to scale. Pays will get caught inside the Steel Garden as he attempts to make a distraction on B, but without his services, this side has struggled. Players in red jerseys already on the C site, but again, it's these fights which they have to win to offer any kind of situational advantage. Spray coming through, it's Focus winning out in the end, but a 2-on-2. With Runner on the line and another missed op shot coming out of the Raze player. Shinnok looking for his opportunity to get involved, spike in hand. But still, Runner able to find that next frag. Shinnok has multiple targets jumping his way and he can't find either of them. It's going to be a level half.
I mean, at one point it was 6-2 in favour of Focus. We were talking about 70% attack side win rate. It's not been the case. Focus have let it slip. But will they let this map slip? We'll find that out after the halftime break.
Spike down. One enemy remains.
For one of these teams, this will be the final half of a Challengers EMEA stage that they play. And for the other, an opportunity to move into the promised land. The VCT EMEA Stage 2 play-ins will await them and a chance to move into that bracket against some of the best. It has all come down to this. The final half of play. Job Life started off well on both opening maps. Focus taking their time to respond, but now going a little quiet on their side of the server when it matters most.
Yeah, this is the most important half that you'll play probably this year so far. For Focus, this is their best chance they've ever had at VCT. That as well for Job Life. We start things off, Job Life to attack.
You can see Focus already trying to get a little bit proactive here on their own defender's side. 3 players pushed up B main, one of them already cut loose. Runner with the opener. And now Focus forced to react. You can see movements already made towards the C side of the map, but Job Life have other intentions. 4 players now walking in the direction of a lobby. Still yet to gain access to too much real estate, but the A scale begins behind the Viper wall and Serial starts to get an idea.
Focus already been dealt a blow through Shinnok. Serial already low on health. I mean, does have the arc rose on the A site, but the spike and B main. Surely they don't head to the B site. I mean, Focus have started to make their move. This is going to end up working out against them. There's going to be an open B site.
It looks like it. Seize is impeccably timed, however, but Kamek still able to pick up the first of those kills. Lewis looking to follow suit. Can't do it. 4 versus 2 situation in favor of Job Life, and this their chance to take the lead for the first time in this map. Serial in a 1 versus 3. Blocked out of the blue room. They already know where he makes his reprisal from. And so it's the long way round that he has to take, and it's right into the open arms of Kamek. The lead now secured, and Job Life are the ones who feel most in control at this stage in the game. 5 rounds in a row.
6-2 is a haunting scoreline for Focus at this moment in time. And has now starting to get flashbacks from a different era. I think of 2023 Ascension. Focus back then, a roster completely different to that of now, but 1 man remains from then. And that was your boy Lewis. On a map like this, against the eventual winners, a French team. 2 rounds away from winning out against Gentlemates. And it ended up going the opposite way through individual errors.
Stack of players here on C. 4 out of the 5 for Focus. Looking to see what it is they can do to stop Job Life contacting up, but Utility has made a mess of this game. So Job Life will just clean house. It's no issue for them in the end. I have to echo your thoughts, Cairo. I think this is a very different Focus team to the one which played back then, but again, the story plays in a similar way. And on the defender side of Lotus here, just looking at the compositions as well, far less defensive capability. Focus are going to be looking to try and get in Job Life's face as much as possible. Through that double duelist. They do a lot of damage on this round, but it's flawless nonetheless.
Yeah. So with nightmares from Lewis's past, can he overcome them? Can he exercise them? That's the issue that we'll be thinking about. A French region that has really stopped all opportunities of any further development for Lewis on Focus. It seems if Job Life are just going to send this B word, and it is Lewis they're going to walk into.
Vandal in his hands this time around. Smoke to the side, head turned, is able to find Runner at the very least, but Shiwa back with 3. huge kills which just demand your attention. As Job Life again will not be forgotten in this matchup. Not left to the history books, as they have many tales of their own to tell. Hard times, unlucky situations, disconnects in big games. Kamek knows it. 2 years ago, he was part of the side which made it as far as an Ascension competition, only to be grouped in the end.
I mean, that team was favourites for that Ascension as well.
They were. And there's still a test to get past here, though. Lewis is repositioned onto the C side. They might line up for him. Lewis gets the first. Tap to the second, and oh my lord, Lewis! The final kill is the cherry on the icing. A one-round game again, and Focus stay in it.
I mean, Hazza, we talk about years gone past, we talk about nightmares on either side, but Lewis decides to roll back the years himself and become the nightmare of Job Life. An unbelievable bit of mechanical skill. Very happy indeed are Focus. They're back in this conversation, but not without problems. It's another rifle versus rifle. And they look to fight C-Mount.
Struggle versus struggle. Both of these teams have been through it.
What?
Looks like Focus are going to be the ones stepping into the light, at least for now, because Runner, just jumping out of that smoke to start at the very least, does go punished, and with no follow-up until Chewer, it is a 4 versus 4 situation where Focus retain this sand control. Both Pays and Mulsi incredulously low, so for that reason, actually they just leave behind Pays by himself.
21 points of health though.
He's playing up close. Still gun in his hands, but that grip loosens ever so quickly when Kamek is about. Numbers back on side for Job Life. Mulsi still low, as we said, 20 points of HP, a kill through spam. Could be what he wants, but it's a double-edged sword with his own health bar in the red zone. Lewis just looking to disrespect the timing. He's been the savior before, but this is one to forget. Job Life onto a 9th, surely now. With Serial left behind, forgotten in this situation.
Yeah, and 4 players alive. It was always going to be a big task. Job Life extend this lead by back to 2. And Focus begin to ask themselves questions. I mean, the C-Mount fight doesn't go too bad, to be honest. It's just the decision to leave Pays by himself on C-Mount that a question. Was there any reason to move away and try and get ahead of the Job Life pack themselves? I mean, C is not a bad site to try and retake to. You can see on the faces of some of these players that they're maybe feeling the frustration a little bit.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way.
Kamek's turned into a water bottle.
Yes. Creeping up on Focus now. I mean, look at it. It's just the one round that Lewis was able to give to them through divine intervention. Otherwise, Providence says that Job Life are the ones most suited to take that third play-in spot. Third and final from this stage. LCQ still waiting for whoever is lucky enough to make it through the gauntlet, but I don't think anyone will be counting on that at this stage. Focus down to a bad buy. This is the opportunity for Job Life to really stretch their legs.
It's when they get to 10 and 11, that's when Job Life usually allow Focus back into this game. Don't think they'll make the same mistakes as previous. I mean, Pays seen, but Serial's still much closer than they would expect.
Satchel out.
Alerted to his presence now.
Yeah.
Gets revealed as well, and it is standard procedure for Job Life in this round, pulling the plug on any kind of an upset. That's sparing Shinnok, but the Guardian is so far out of play, you don't consider it in the realms of possibility here, Cairo. This is as simple as it gets for Focus. You just got to be thinking, what is it that they can do to turn one of these following rounds?
I actually think that the round that they orchestrated a few rounds ago with the C-Mount fight was probably the right decision. It's just the following mid-round that really let themselves down. Shinnok does have a Guardian. I mean, this is the point that I'm kind of holding my breath for. Does Shinnok give us something to believe in?
Kamek was identified. A couple missed shots from him. Distraction in the end, though. Marcy switching out for a Sheriff, but doesn't matter what gun's in his hands. It won't be enough to get past the 4 Job Life players. Looking at it here, just 3 rounds required for them to take that final spot in play-ins from this event. And with how they've been able to gain access around the map quite easily, Focus forced to play this more aggressive style I was talking about through their composition, not getting the value of it without the coverage of the Viper. It has been difficult for them to give themselves any kind of foundation to fortify.
Top 4 orb emitting.
Again, it's that C-Mount that we spoke about before. But look at Job Life.
Has the op this time.
This is so nice. Job Life have went for a trap play through C-Mount. Pays does get a kill with his operator. You can see the paranoia being held. Pays having to use his own blast packs to get out. But there is no escape, no relief from Job Life's onslaught. A Viper's pit to cement the space. 2-player advantage.
And Mulsi is already looking like he wants to save this operator. Shinnok's spray doesn't count for much. It's a small victory in Unfake using the Nightfall in this situation. Still feeling that Focus want to give this one a go, but the chance has already passed. And as you detailed at the start of the round, Job Life, the way that they approach the C push is fantastic, just mitigating the value of that operator. Too many lanes for Pays to be focused on, and in having another player there in Sand actually works against them in the end. I would like to have seen Focus put a little bit more presence on A main, actually. So they sort of half committed to clearing out rubble when they had this this op line on C. So there you go, another 11-7. Question is, what side of history will these teams find themselves on after the next round?
I think the next thing you've got to be thinking about as well when it comes to these two teams is the investment that you've had from the organisations. Job Life have been there from the very beginning of Tier 2, right? And amongst the days that Vitality used to be in Tier 2 in France. That's a long, long time ago.
Gotta go.
Job Life look to finally get their just rewards. Shinnok tries to fire forward, somehow gets himself a double kill! Make that 4! He was basically dead! 36 points of health and grabs Focus by the scruff of their neck and pulls them up, dusts themselves down.
It's just typical Focus.
Yeah.
It is typical Focus. At this stage in the game, it's Shinnok or Pays, one of the two, that steps up to the plate and makes the play. It simply cannot be repeated, though.
Irrelevant.
Chua is going to find at least one to this manner of all clutches right now, but Focus have to try and find a way to put this together on more than one occasion, and it looks like Shinnok might even be in for a backstab here as well to complete his ace. And it is a fantastic ace at that. The one which keeps Focus in this game. Money was in such a strenuous position. He's done just enough for now, though, to keep them breathing.
Unbelievable stuff. The fact that he gets away with that brings the overdrive online. Should money get bad for Focus? I don't think it will, considering the state of the game. Ultimates to perhaps get themselves closer to Job Life and make them pay. We'll see if that is true. Is it's Job Life to start towards the C side of the map.
Reveal and Prowler broken as well, so Pays is still able to keep this operator in position. Finally signals his presence as the A overload on the previous round worked out fantastically for Focus. They've now decided to call a heavier rotation towards C. Vice Util set up, Flash to play through if they want. And instead it actually just sets up the Haunt, which gets broken. Now they have the info.
Seems to be the case. This is Steel Garden to come through. And I mean, you look at the players round about here. Focus are still looking to flood on towards the site. The Steel Garden was about to dissipate, but not in time for Serial to really get a kill. Shinnok ultimate and play that overdrive, and he's still got a couple of kills. Still looking to play forward. Still a disadvantage for the defense, but it's Lewis who's really trying to be the difference maker. Instead, it's Runner denying a showstopper, denying a show-stopping comeback. Job Life are one away from VCT.
And it came so close as well, because right at the end, you saw the showstopper in play for Pays. He was there, ready to end the round, but just satchels in above the smoke, and that's where he gets caught by Runner. Looking to make his own return to the top flight. As you say, both of these orgs have been in and around the second tier for the longest of time. Focus more so than Job Life. A founding member of the Dark League, taking time away to then return as kings once more. And on the French side, no one else to have topped their league as many times as them. Now on that final march towards the A site, Serial standing between them, he might just forfeit the space.
Berlin is on the horizon for Job Life as Focus look to deny it. Spike, tap, hoping that someone peeks him. Right now, Job Life, though, are going to take a front foot all the way upstairs. At least Focus identify that.
Rip and tear.
Could just be pushing into Serial. Steel Garden, though, has that one on the back burner. Just waiting for the time being as, again, Job Life look to reel in this Focus aggression, which is unwavering in their patience. Focus to make a final stand as Job Life can see the light at the end of the tunnel after all of this time. Kamek down to only a pistol from the corner, as are the rest. Focus starting to clean through these players, cut them out of position. In fact, it might just be flawless in the end. The captain to save them. Unfake stepped into the side to stop group stage embarrassment in the previous, but he can't halt this one. Once it's set in motion, Focus still alive in this qualification game.
There's 3 rounds of a difference, and that's where we're going to get the pause straight away. Larson, who's been on Job Life for years on years, has it. He's seen tragedy after tragedy. We'll call a pause and just take a moment to talk about how Job Life finished this one out.
You could see Job Life had all the right ideas. They wanted to stop Focus from enacting their game plan, but at the same time, such patience. In a position like that, not to get caught up in the moment is exactly what Focus require if they're to get through these next 3 rounds.
There's experience that you have to rely upon in this moment. Plenty of it on Job Life. Unfake recently on Vitality. Chua, who should have had his opportunity in VCT but been denied. Kamek, obviously we've seen him on Gentle Mates Runner, on Giant X and the like. Doma, I mean, had been on the champ stage in Paris. This roster has seen the highs and lows of VCT.
And now just 1 round away. Can they complete this journey back to Tier 1? The round starts slow, but it is 5 players committed to a C execution, one which Malsey has to defend with his life.
Focus are so quick with this rotation as well.
Who knows exactly what it means to ascend. And looking at it here, he is well supported, but the execution cutthroat. Lewis standing by his side, going 1 for 1. It won't suffice as it stands because Joblife are in it to win it. And there are 2 players left at the pillar. Serial scrambling to get himself involved. A decision to be made for Focus as they trail. Do they want to try and interrupt this? Is there a kill left for them here?
Serial's so late. It's 2v4 on site.
It just doesn't feel like they can afford for it to go to post-plant this time around, because it might be the last chance that they get. Kamek finds the next, just down to the final 2. Shinnok has starred in so many moments this stage, this campaign. The youngster has to fire well above his years now as it's a 1 versus 4 in front. Joblife, for all the troubles and tribulation, the tragedy that has befell this team, they are 20 seconds or so away from VCT EMEA. Spike only just now going in. Shinnok looking to try and deny it. Lights up a couple of kills. Oh my god, he's found 3, but not the final kill. The captain unfake hauls them through. Joblife going all the way.
Built for VCT, and that objective has been succeeded. I think there's no other way to look at it. Joblife, as you said, have been through trials and tribulations as an organisation, and what a redeeming moment to be heading to Berlin to be playing amongst the best for a chance at Champs Shanghai.
It's a series which went all the way, really, but Focus in the end not quite able to stoke the embers of that performance. And I have to say, Cairo, I was so impressed by Joblife, and then right at the end, absolute pandemonium, shirts coming off in the boot camp as we quickly cut away from the cams. A celebration which was well deserved because Joblife have taken the final of those spots. Neither of these teams had even made it into playoffs until we extended that invite up to 8 for this stage, Cairo, and with them being the higher seeded team, they are the ones that end up doing it. Your final thoughts as we conclude this epic affair?
I mean, Focus had their opportunities. They'll rue the day, but they at least have a second chance in that LCQ. We'll see if they can bounce back. They've had some great performances, but there's some sharks in the water in that LCQ, and I would be very, very concerned with heading in that direction.
Yeah, look, they're not the only Duck team left with a last chance. Frankfurt, from the LCQ play-in of itself to then make it there, it is a ridiculous gauntlet now dropped in front of the remaining teams. But Focus will be one of them. Joblife, our congratulations go out to them. They take the final of the play-in spot from stage 3 in EMEA. Now back to the analysts to see what they think of what has been a ridiculous best of 3.
You know what I think? I think we can forgive them for getting their shirts off on camera just this one time. No yellow card. Let's let that one slide. This is a monumentous occasion for Joblife, a team that went out in the group stage both times. They made ascension over the past 2 years. Not a brilliant performance in the EMEA Clash earlier this year. This is their real opportunity to make something of that. Now, there is a lot to work on, I think, for Joblife. Letting Focus into so many rounds in that one when they had victory on the line so many times. I think definitely there's things to work on, but there's plenty left in this tournament. There's a better 5 coming up for them against Reborn in just a little bit, a revenge match for them for earlier this tournament, so that they can get that stuff done before they get to the play-ins. Plenty of time until that as well. But congratulations to Joblife, because look, they were the team on top over the whole series, whether or not you count the Focus comebacks, which I mean, look, this is a team that is absolutely impressive. But yeah, Joblife, I think, definitely deserve that win, Echo.
Yeah, so deserved. You could feel like they were in charge. The veto was in their favor. They may have lost split due to that comeback that you mentioned, but they just went ahead with Lotus. They reset, and it just felt like they were destined to go up against Reborn. And the Reborn game is going to be such perfect practice for play-ins as well. Even if they can't go all up into, win the best of 5. It's still such a great practice against an incredible team that we think is probably one of our top 2 in EMEA.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but to recall a few moments where we saw those player cams. I think 2 clearly different looks. Focus, who were having a tough time in that timeout moment, I think it was called. And on the other hand, Job Life, where we saw quite a lot of smiles coming from that boot camp as well. Unfake standing up and hyping his teammates. And I wonder, when we have the interview in a few minutes, what does Doma have to say about that bootcamp? Has that helped them push the line of them qualifying here, or what has that bootcamp done for the squad of Job Life? Interesting.
Yeah, we will find that out very shortly. I do believe we're just getting Doma in right now. But yeah, ridiculous series. I think, look, the trials and tribulations they've been through here, and look, the overall story of this team over the last couple of years as well, has led them to this point. It's given them what they need to be able to get to this stage. And while, yes, there are amazing candidates going through, and I think if you look at Enterprise and you look at Reborn, you're looking at them to do the best going into the play-ins. This is a team that can make that deep run, and I do have Doma ready to talk to now, so I will say goodbye to you guys for just a little bit, and then I'll bring it back to you in just a sec. Hello, Doma. Congratulations.
Hello. Thank you very much.
I mean, you guys clearly, we saw what that meant to you in the little camera of your room right after the win. Look, you've been at boot camp. Has that been a big part of your success so far this tournament?
I mean, yeah, Relog here in Belgrade provided us with an unreal bootcamp. Like, it was just so much help to be, in person next to teammates. Because I think if we were online, like some of the situations we found ourselves in, like the comebacks, the throws we did, the ecos, the advantages we lost. Like, I think if it was online, it would be a lot harder, to bounce back. But when you have the energy in the room, like, anything's possible, and I think we showed it now. So
Yeah, I think, we could see that from a mile off. I mean, when we were looking at the difference between the 2 teams in that last timeout where Focus, online, they've got their heads in their hands for a lot of it. You guys were up and about, hyping each other up. It's a massive thing. I think the team culture is part of what gave you this one. But as well as that, I think your tournament run has been wonderful so far. I think it's easy to look at it and go, oh, but you lost in the group, second in the group stage. You lost your first game against Reborn, but those were against Enterprise and Reborn, the 2 teams which I think everybody is looking at going, these are ridiculously good teams. Do you see that? Do you see yourself as the 3rd place team, or when you're against Reborn tomorrow, are we going to see a new side to Job Life there?
I think both of those teams, like, big respect to them, they're playing good Valorant, but also I know that both of them respect us, and I don't think, like, it could go either way, like, I'm sure we are capable of beating them both with no disrespect to them, but like, I know we are on par with them, so we'll see tomorrow. But I think we have more things to do in this tournament, because it's both rematches and both games we could have won, in my opinion. So yeah, look forward to playing them again.
Yeah, and I mean, look, let's just, I had to bring up the past in this, but looking back at stage 2, that was a really rough one for you guys. Obviously, good group stage, got out of that one fine, and then 2-0 losses. What has been the difference maker between then and now? Like, this is a standout performance, and there's a lot on the line, of course. Is that part of it?
I mean, I think she was just showing the room. I think a lot to do with that is because we brought Unfake recently into the team. So obviously, like, in the stage 2, I think it was maybe like not even a week from our French league into the stage 2. So obviously after that, we had some time to change some comps, do some actually practice. So I think now it shows, like, I mean, we're a lot better than we were then. Like, I think Unfake, like, bringing in Unfake helped us incredibly much. Like, without him, we'd be full cooked, if I can say. But no, I mean, yeah, definitely, like, just the time and the practice showed now, so I'm happy.
Absolutely. Okay, one final thing just before I let you go. We'll look past what's to come in this tournament. Obviously, congratulations qualifying to play-ins. you've had plenty of kind of, you know, obviously 2 Ascension runs Job Life have had, and the EMEA clash earlier this year. None of them have really worked out for Job Life. Is this finally the time where something really works out with that kind of upper stage play, getting into the play-ins of VCT? Is it going to go better for you guys? Do you think you have what it takes finally to really bring the fight to some of these VCT teams?
I mean, I believe we got what it takes. It's just that if we stop throwing ecos, stop throwing advantages, and actually closing out games earlier, because I think like 2 or 3 times we found ourselves in situations where we could have like 1 or 2 rounds away from winning. But no, I mean, I think we got what it takes. Time will tell, and yeah, I look forward to playing, you know, the best of the best in Europe. So.
All right then. Brilliant. Okay, so thank you very much for having the time to talk to me, and congratulations on the win, and best of luck with your game tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah, I think, look, at the very least, I'm very glad that he has come in and gone, yeah, you know, we threw a lot of that.
Don't miss the goal.
Yeah, it could have easily been a 2-0, obviously, but that is not the way it worked out. And as I say, I think a lot to work on, but, you know, identifying where the problems are, even before a VOD review, definitely shows some good introspection there, and hopefully we will see... over the course of the next couple of days, of course, in terms of this tournament and before the play-ins, some fixes implemented, Echo.
Yeah, the fixes coming in for the game against Reborn tomorrow, see what they can turn around in less than 24 hours. That's going to be the key indicator, really. Yep. It's a very short amount of time to try and make big structural changes, because losing so many ecos, losing so many man advantage situations is a big change to your team. It's not just have more discipline, okay, it's fixed. You've really got to work on it. Tomorrow's game, even if it doesn't go well, they can work on it in that game, because Reborn is the perfect team to test that against, because they will take advantage of anything you give them. If you give them a 1v1, they will win it. So you have to be on point, and it's the perfect training ground.
I love the adaptations that Job Life have in their roster, and not in terms of how they adapt in the server as well, but how they adapt ahead of the game. I was kind of question marking on why they would go back to that Vice on this composition, then highlighting that maybe they play this against the races, and that is exactly what they do. Once more, they pull out when there's a race on the enemy side. They don't want to play Cypher, and once again they find themselves winning that 13-9 like they did against Barca and Enterprise Esports, and spearheading that. I think we go all the way around back to Unfake, who is one of the better players, one of the better leaders of this whole Challengers EMEA circuit, and Doma kind of highlighting Unfake as well, being a part of that roster, being a strong leader and coming in on the stage 2. Back then they were kind of struggling because they didn't have all of the repetitions under them, but now they have had, and that performance was incredible. What a performance in terms of the individual strength as well. I mean, him being able to lead his team, but also pull off some crazy rounds.
Yeah, I think it cannot be stated more. I think Doma was obviously very complimentary for a good reason there, right? I think every player has pitched in quite a lot for this team, and the job's done now, right? The hard part of the job is done. It is just a revenge arc from here. Can they get a win against Reborn? Can they get a win against Enterprise? Let's take a look at the bracket, see where they are in this one. The 3 teams remaining in the tournament, of course, Enterprise Esports, who booked their ticket to the grand final early on. That full upper bracket clinch over Reborn just earlier, and of course it will be Reborn versus Job Life, our first best of 5. But I'm actually going to have to say thank you guys for your contributions early today, because there's only one best of 3 today. Tomorrow will be Reborn versus Job Life. And then, yeah, from there on out, it's just best of 5s up to the grand final. And pretty much right after we're done, we're going straight into LCQs, essentially. So, no rest for the wicked. But thank you guys once again for joining me on the desk. Thank you for production for everything so far. We've still got a couple days left to go, so hopefully you join us for those ones as well, because if nothing else, they are going to be very, very good games. We already saw with Enterprise and Reborn what these teams can bring to the table. But regardless, thank you for watching, and goodbye.
괴롭혀봐 나를 rain on me 다가서면 bang 전부 걸어 게임처럼 너의 고개를 떨굴 때는 dance honey 모두 몸에 걸어 눈이 빛나는 걸로 전부 걸치고 나니 노리는 것들일 거야 발밑에 쫓아와도 너는 절대 못 껴 넘어질 배포도 없는 애들은 no 따라오지 못하는 건 내 알바가 아니지 그래서 the boys not my type 아니 거리동이 틈에 판이 바뀌지 이기는 건 당연하니 cause my type 시시하게 겉으로만 판단하겠지 웃는 얼굴 어서 좋게 잘 봐 날 멍청한 애들이 여기 자꾸 넘치니 바가게 써니 몫을 내 못해 짜증나면 질러 I don't like being cool at least night to night girl들만 불러 money on the fool I'm a boss to be or hero 뭐든지 다 내게 cruise 말하잖아 내가 뱉는 대로 내가 다시 look Told to myself I'm so bossy I'm so bad I told to myself I'm so bossy I'm so bad I told to myself I'm so bossy I'm so bad I told to myself
told ya 느리게만 보여 눈이 핑 돌아가는 놈들을 한 곳으로 모여 Shall we ride 머리 위로 투 그래서 이거 누가 대신에 money dance on a private jet 여긴 닿을 수 없는 곳 올려 넣어 bus 하늘 위로 떨어지는 별을 느낄 like demons 자식 나고 기는 것들은 전부 천했지 왜처럼 증오들은 나의 밑거른 꽤나 좁아져도 눈의 시선은 어느새 풀려 숨죽여 Hey you better you turn when I pull up Can't slow me down 나 끝없는 ride 멈출 수가 없잖아 안돼 소리로 망설임 없이 주사 위로 여전히 예상 못한 곳으로 향하지 like we to go
Told to myself I'm so bossy I'm so bad I told to myself I'm so bossy I'm so bad I told to myself I'm so bossy I'm so bad I told to myself
Yeah. Pull up to the spot with the squad, let the bass drop. Laser on the up, brought the truck, this a K-Watch. Shimmy, shimmy,